Welcome to Armchair Expert. I'm Dax Shepard, and I'm joined by Monica Padman.
Hi.
Today we have Mo Amer on.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Mo.
Mo is great.
Mo is a stand-up comedian and an award-winning writer. I first saw him on Rami, which is another show I love,
Friend of the pod.
where he plays Mo in that, but not our Mo in Mo.
Mo plays Mo in that, but then in his show, he's a different Mo.
He's a different Mo, but very similar. Also Black Adam and two stand-up specials on Netflix, Mo Amer, The Vagabond, and Mo Amer, Mohammed in Texas. And he's on tour right now with El Oso Palestino Tour, which is the Palestinian bear.
Yeah.
That's what that translates to.
This was so interesting.
Another incredible story. We're just
Yeah.
coming off a John story, and then now we have this.
We're getting some epic tales in this garage.
We are. Also very Kihi Kwan.
Yeah, I was thinking a lot about Key during this episode.
Yeah, we're accumulating some wild. You can really take some circuitous paths to this town of Hollywood.
That's right.
Please enjoy Mo Amer. We'd like to thank our presenting sponsor, Happy Egg. Crack open happy. Look for the yellow carton at a store near you. And now, on with the show.
He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert.
Do you get anxiety before you go out on a talk show that you're going to have to pee once you get out there?
No, I don't. Peeing is not the anxiety. No.
It's not.
That's last on the list.
What
No,
is
no.
it?
I just watched you and Seth. Actually, I have something in common with Seth. Edibles fuck me up. Like, I'm terrified of that. I don't really get anxiety. I get anxiety only if something is not like settled at home.
Okay.
You know, if something is off.
Yeah,
You'll
that's-
carry
Like,
that
I'm a very
throughout the-
sensitive person. Like, I can feel my family's energy. Like, I can sincerely, like,
Yeah.
I feel it. Like, if something's wrong, I'll know it's wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it. It's like the antenna.
Yeah. Spidey sense.
That's the only time that really, like, truly
No, like
fucks with me.
compulsive rumination thoughts. Like I can
No.
acknowledge the pee one is insane.
Yeah.
'Cause
P1 is nothing.
I'll
yeah.
be in the dressing room at Kimmel.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting to hear the knock. I
Right.
stand in front of the toilet. And then when I hear the knock, I go, 1 second. And then I do my last pee
Right.
because I'm so
Do you think
nervous
you're
that in
at
12
risk?
minutes.
Do you think you're at risk
No.
of ever peeing in your
No.
pants?
No, although if ever there was a place to try it, it would be on Kimmel.
That's
'cause it's
true.
such a
Right.
safe
Kimmel's the one to
place.
do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
It's a safe place to be.
Kimmel,
Your
so
he's
nice.
so easy to work. Like, so easy to talk to.
Nicest
It feels so calming. Really, tomorrow, I'm doing Kimmel tomorrow, actually. I don't know if you knew that or just
I'm doing
saying
it Thursday.
Oh, that's funny. That's awesome.
Guys.
Let's do it on the same.
Let's do it.
I'll
What
go
are
to
we
yours.
doing?
You come to mine.
That's perfect.
Why don't you guys tell
That
the
would be fun,
exact
actually.
same story? We'll plan it.
It's going to be great for him. Just
I know, 'cause he's first.
Just see you on the show as an Arab growing up in America. It'd be so great.
Well, that's
It's
kind of
so
what they
easy.
do on Weekend Update. Do you ever watch
Yeah.
the stuff with Shay?
Oh, fuck
and-
Jay, man. I don't
Okay.
wanna- no, I'm just kidding. That's my brother. That's my brother. It's going to be downhill from here, guys. No,
But him and Colin.
no, these are my guys. They're my friends. Yeah.
yeah, where they write
Yeah.
jokes for each other that they're
Yeah.
not allowed to tell. I mean,
And then
primarily.
read out loud.
On
yeah.
Christmas, I think it's Christmas or like New Year's, like the last show. It's whatever the last show is. I
Yeah.
think they do that.
That's
yeah.
fun.
It's diabolical. They're
It
absolutely
is. I know,
diabolical.
it's scary.
It's
and
actually
much
great.
higher risk for Colin than for.
I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Especially because Che was really trying to get him into trouble. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's genuinely trying to put him in the worst possible pickle.
But in a weird way, I'm like, oh, they're geniuses. They've hacked the math of this.
Right.
And really, we are dying to see this white guy make a terrible joke because
Sure.
we know the risk is career ending. And they figured out
Yeah.
how to do it.
Yeah, they have. No,
But
it's
there's no
perfect.
blame.
It's
yeah,
perfect.
like the whole
Yeah.
thing's
The
a
black guy
weird
wrote
hack.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. I didn't come up
I
with
didn't mean to
this.
say the N-word. He told me to say
He
it.
made me say it.
It's like I have to do it. It's written. I
It would
read
be
everything that's on the
disrespectful to
monger.
not do
Yeah,
it.
I agree. You know what gives me the most, not anxiety, but the thing that causes me to go down like a thought process, especially since this is like specifically about the show and there's so much to discuss within the series itself.
Yes.
It's like, what clip do you show? What exactly do you talk
Yeah.
about?
Yeah.
And I'm a stand-up, as well. It's like, I just want to do jokes. I just want to be a guy on the
Yes.
couch. But I'm in this like really like extraordinary position where I'm the only guy,
Yeah.
only Palestinian on television with his own show created by a Palestinian, starring and directed by. But it's like, it's like, what are you gonna do? You know what I mean?
Big
what are you gonna
spotlight.
say? Everybody's like, the mic's on. It's like, come on, buddy.
Yeah.
We all want to hear it.
Work
What's
this
your
out
take?
for us.
Exactly.
Yeah. Tell us what
And
to
I'm
do.
just like, I really just want to be a comedian. That'd be really great to do that. But I understand that there's an immense responsibility that comes with my position, and you can't just be a clown all the time.
I have said this a bunch in the past, which is for the young black dude who's from a shit situation and makes it out and becomes successful, it wasn't bad enough that he had to go through all of that and be extra special to get here.
Sure.
But now he's also burdened with the responsibility of representing the black community and speaking out on all issues. And I just have always felt like if you want to be political, great. But just to have to inherit that on top of everything else, you've already it seems like a weird reward for having,
No, I agree.
And I would be resentful a bit if I were in a position where it's like, no, I want to tell jokes and have fun.
Yes.
And I'm entitled to do that as much as anyone else is. So why do I have to be? So is there any does it feel like a burden at all?
It definitely doesn't feel like a burden.
Okay.
It's funny, that book says the burden and the glory.
Oh
Just
my
throwing me off.
God.
It's like, exactly
John
right.
F.
It kind of.
That says it all.
It's like, wow. It's a sign.
Yeah.
I really do feel like it is like, stand-up itself is an art form, since that's how I started out. I mean, technically I did theater in high school and I was doing stand-up at the same time. And once I started educating myself about what stand-up comedy is, and the history of stand-up.
Yeah.
Historically speaking, the greatest stand-up comedians have always made you laugh and made you think.
Yeah.
Like historically. Of course, there's like the Dangerfield, who's just silly and amazing one-liners, and that's incredible. I'm not saying it's not. It's one of the funniest guys ever, really.
Yeah.
But if you look at it, everybody's top 5 is someone who really made you think.
Yeah, who's
I
your
agree.
top 5?
Oh.
Let's see how much overlap
man.
we've
that's a
got.
good-
Can we
I would
agree on
definitely
Pryor just number 1?
Yeah, for sure.
No.
It's close. To me, like I don't like to put them in any particular order.
Yeah, that's
because
fair.
they each, have a fascinating skill set that is just like the other one can't do.
Yeah, right.
Like Pryor and Carlin. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Carlin he has a particular skill set, and he's ahead of the game, like in the most incredible way, where everything he says today is relevant, but he has a certain structure. He has to write every single thing down. And you have Pryor, which is really freewheeling, freestyling, which is my style. Really, like I write everything on the fly. I have to do it in front of the audience. I can't sit down and just write it out. I'm inspired by the audience. I need that. So I appreciate those skill sets. So I really don't like, for me, to put them in a particular order. But these are the comedians I truly admire and love so much.
A good analogy would kind of be like you're asking who's your favorite athlete as opposed to who's your favorite basketball player, your favorite hockey player. It's Pryor's doing something different than Jerry Seinfeld.
Pryor's
and
doing something.
Cosby was sitting down and doing this.
Chappelle, do you like Chappelle?
Of course. Yeah, we've done thousands of shows together. Yeah. Pryor, Carlin, Bill Hicks, to me, is up there. Like he's, unfortunately died so young, but he was on that trajectory of like just really being truly ahead of his time and magnificent in his own way. Chappelle is on my top 5 just because I've seen him personally just, thousands of shows together. And it's like seeing inside of how, a Rolex works, like how the mechanism all flows. It's just really fascinating to see that. And I feel like we're very similar in ways, and like, just a lot of things like overlap between us. And I'm just grateful to have one of the greatest of all time and to be able to see him. And he's my brother. Like he's my mentor, but also like family.
Yeah.
So he's up there, of course. Like I don't think there's a debate there. I mean, like then the 5th is really hard. It's like Eddie Murphy, but he's also like he stopped and he got so famous that once you stop doing stand up and want to come back to it, it's almost impossible to do so.
Yeah, it's very impressive that Seinfeld was able to come back and do a real show.
But he never really stopped doing stand-up. He always would show up, and his show was stand-up and this and that. I mean, Murphy is just like, he became a,
movie star.
rock and roll, man. He was just like, couldn't go anywhere. He was
and a
beyond
lot of young
music
people
star,
wouldn't even know he was a stand-up at any
Yeah,
point.
exactly. But those are the albums I used to listen to. But when I first started stand-up, I was only been in the country like 5 years. So I didn't really know anything about the history of stand-up or anything. I would be at open mics and be like, oh, you sound like Kennison. I'm like, who the fuck's Kennison? They're like, who the fuck's Kennison? You live in Houston. He's funny. People thought I was full of shit because I didn't have an accent.
Right.
To them, they feel like, oh, if you're like an immigrant, you should have some kind of accent. The fact that you don't is baffling, so we don't really believe it.
Right.
You know, it was one of those things.
Yeah.
Like I would tell my friends like that I grew up with and we're still friends to this day, like super close, when they first found out that, because you don't talk about it. You just walk around like, hey, I don't have a, citizenship yet or anything like that.
You're trying to fit in, not stand out more, right?
Yeah, but
As
it
a
never
kid?
really just comes up. You just want to ball in the neighborhood, have a good time. You're not really thinking about it. It's not like we're going to go travel to Europe together, It's like, you don't really think about, they know the family, but they, you're too young, you're too naive, you're too, thinking about too many other things than to share your immigration status. It just didn't really come up at that time.
Yeah. Now, and this is linked to the obligation to talk about being Palestinian in this moment, but also, do you get sick of having to tell your story? Because your show, which we're going to talk a lot about, is your story. So you inevitably do have to share it. But I do wonder if you get, again, back to the, I just want to be funny. I don't want to have to tell this fucking story again.
There's some fatigue for sure.
Yeah.
There's certain moments of fatigue, but it's not coming from sharing the story because I am introducing different eras of it. And there is so many layers that are baked into each experience, whether it's the Gulf War, growing up in America. There's really fun ways and interesting ways to explore that as a storyteller. Like I am really intrigued by that, and I want to dive into it and capture all the subtleties and bring them out. And that is like the best part of writing the TV show and creating a show. Like that is
there's just still so much.
It's really emotional at times, like super emotional. Like I can't explain to you how many moments in the show, in the series while I was filming, especially season 2, where I would have to go off and just weep and then come back and then start over and then direct. Okay, guys, so what we're gonna do is, my co-star was like, "How the fuck are you doing this?" I saw what happened. I saw it.
You were in the
like,
corner
"Could you
crying.
just shut your mouth.
You weren't getting anything from craft service. You were whimpering to yourself in front of it.
That's fun. I really do enjoy that, whether it's super emotional and it's or just straight up comedic scene that we're shooting and you're just feeding lines to Hamid, which is one of my favorite characters in the whole season. You're just like, those are great. The thing that I have happening to me right now, especially on tour, is all the people sharing their experiences with me.
Sure.
Yeah, you have to hold a lot.
And that's a massive thing to have to lift. That's the most difficult part. Man, I have people coming up to me talking about they lost 200 family members. I have people who lost, I held a kid yesterday. He's 3 years old. He's from Gaza. He's getting treatment here. He's lost his mother. She was 23. And I'm like holding him and I'm like, just thinking about him. Just had a son. He's 17 months. I can't even imagine it.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that's really, really, really heavy. Yeah. And that's where the responsibility comes. That's where they're like, okay.
Yeah.
But literally, there's nobody else speaking about it from an actual Palestinian perspective, right?
Right. I hear a lot of young white liberal kids telling me about it, but I haven't heard many Palestinians.
Well, it's good. I want people should have engaged in this conversation. That's the only way to truly have any kind of progress is engage in these talks, right?
Yeah.
But no one is coming from my background talking about it. This is not at least no one has the voice that I do or the platform that I do.
Yeah.
So just to engage in that, and it's also a massive test for me as a comedian because I could always go up and just give me a topic, dissect this, have a blast with it, make it funny, no problem.
Yeah.
But to toe that line is like dangerous,
Yeah. Well, that's what Chappelle's so masterful at.
Yeah.
And I need his perspective on Black experience. Like the insight that he has repeatedly given me is just incredibly valuable and so authentic and from the inside that it's just always I always appreciate that.
Can't agree with you more. Yeah.
To start, you were born in Kuwait.
I was, yep.
I got food poisoning in the Kuwait first class
really?
lounge, and
Oh,
and then had food poisoning for 28 hours of flight back
I'm
to.
sorry, that's not funny.
No, it's really funny.
yeah.
You probably can't think of. Can you think of a worse scenario than the food poisoning setting on as they close the door for your 14-hour flight?
That's horrible. I had a similar situation. Did not last 28 hours. That is misery.
Yeah.
That is absolute misery. I had a similar situation from Sweden to Frankfurt, catching my connection flight in Frankfurt. Before I boarded the flight, I bought a sparkling. I thought it was just a regular sparkling water.
Yeah.
So I take a drink of it. I was like, oh my God, this tastes god awful. It's fucking pear sparkling water.
And maybe it turned.
I'm like, God damn you Swedish people. Like, who drinks pear sparkling water? And whatever formula that it takes to make the pear taste,
Sure.
that flavor,
That perfume.
just created the worst possible like bubbling sickness
Storm
in my
system.
It's a storm system having
Yeah, yeah.
formed. 100 hurricane was forming.
Doppler
All the
radar
blood was
all
leaving
red.
my head and then going right to try to rescue my gut. I either needed to pass gas or take a poop. I wasn't sure about what was going to happen.
That's a risky
I
thing
feel
to do.
faint. Yeah, you can't
On the
sit there on the plane. It's horrible.
Sweaty brow ridge.
Sweaty brow ridge, a full-blown waterfall situation from every area possible, the back of the dome, the front
I
of the
hate to
dome.
say it, you now look like someone that's smuggling something on an airplane.
I shoved cocaine up my ass, and now it's backfiring. And that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
I finally hear the ding, to get up. I was like, I gotta go to the restroom. We gotta figure this out. I felt really faint, and right before I grabbed the door, I just go down. Perfect, right? I just go down.
You collapsed.
I just fainted like this.
God.
And I wake up to three of the hottest Swedish, German
It's like a beer
flight
commercial.
attendants. They're like, are you okay? What's happening? Have you been, they're like this close to me. Have you been partying?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Were you at the beer garden and had so much fun? You want to have some more fun?
I was like, no, I wasn't. Leave me alone. Are you diabetic? I was like, no, I'm not diabetic. Thank God I'm not diabetic. Stop making me panic even more. Just leave me air. It was horrible.
funny.
I just needed to pass gas. That's all I needed. Just pass gas and it was all gone. Whatever, it was all gone.
My first thought upon waking up and seeing the Swedish ski team would be, are my pants full? Because we don't know what happened.
Out.
We don't know what happened
know.
while I
yes.
was out.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
And these
okay.
are very beautiful women, and I
Sure.
might have a full cargo.
Yeah,
now.
we
That's
had
so funny.
an armchair tell a story about that where he pooped in the lane
Yeah.
Oh, that's
in the
terrible.
aisle.
Yeah.
Oh, my
And all
God.
these beautiful flight attendants were there, and there's poop on them now.
Oh, no. Are you serious?
Yes,
You just
yes.
have to
Oh,
tell
no.
yourself in those
That's
situations.
horrible.
They've
know.
I
been
might
through
jump off
everything.
the fucking plane. Just hear the pilot. Yeah, he just jumped out of the back of the fucking plane.
He's got 3 rain slickers
Yeah,
tied
I
together.
don't know.
Hopefully that'll.
I'm such a shy person. I don't even like taking off my shirt in front of people like much. Like I'm just a naturally shy person. Like I can't do it. I do it.
Yeah.
Like at the pool and stuff. But I can't imagine a scenario where I shit my pants off on a plane. It's everybody and they're all looking at you.
We'll
like,
just say, ideally, if that
awful.
happens, you want to wake up and see 3 ugly
Yeah.
old men
Yes,
dealing with
yes,
it. And you're
yes,
like, yeah,
yeah.
guys, I shit myself.
you know what
'cause
it's
I'm
like, ain't it, boys? Yeah.
I'm disgusting like you guys.
Smoking a cigarette with shit on his fingertips. Like, you don't care. Yeah, I remember it was 62. Nam was worse. You know
I
what
shit
mean?
myself an hour ago. Welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dad is a telecoms engineer.
Great segue. Yes.
Yeah, we're going back to
What
Kuwait.
sharp.
Now
Let's
that
bring up
we-
your
it was
deceased
a
father
brush.
after all this shit.
You lost your mother in 1990.
God forbid. God forbid.
Yeah, we'll knock on wood for that
Yeah,
one.
no, so-
Straight into that.
No. Yeah, my father was a telecommunications engineer. That's correct.
And was Kuwait the first stop when they left Palestine?
So when my mom and dad married, prior to that, my father got his telecommunications engineer in England, and the first job offer was actually in Doha in Qatar in the 60s.
Uh-huh.
And he got that job, so he lived there for like a year, and that's the reason why they left.
Okay.
This is a job, just like if you're in Houston and you get a job in Kansas, or if you're in LA, you get a gig, you got to go film in Toronto, same thing.
Right.
So he was in Doha, and then he got a job in Kuwait. And that was like where my family settled.
Yeah.
and we're all born there. Yeah. He worked for the Kuwaiti oil company. He built one of the first radio stations in Kuwait. He was instrumental in creating wireless communication at that time between oil rigs. He was like a really brilliant dude, like truly ahead of his time. My mom would always tell me like, oh, he had a cell phone in the 60s, that big thing that you put on your shoulder and it's a massive box.
Microwave.
Yeah, he was that guy. He always had to have like the top tech whenever it comes out. And yeah,
so
it was really cool.
You guys left when you were 9, but how long had they been there?
Oh, since the 60s.
So they did a full 20
like
plus
25 years,
Oh, wow.
probably 25, maybe 30 years there. Yeah.
And did they?
And they would go back and forth to West Bank where my family lives and grandparents are and whatnot.
And did they come to love it? Like when you guys did leave, did mom miss it?
Oh man, it was more than just like loving Kuwait. It was more so the normalcy of the life that we had there, where there wasn't.
It had to be a good life if he was
it
an
was a great
engineer,
life.
right?
My uncle and his, my cousins lived 2 houses down, 3 houses down. All my aunts were there. Like everybody settled in Kuwait, and we had a lot of family there. And my grandparents and some of my aunts, of course, a lot of the extended family was still in the West Bank, but we had this like real unification where we would see each other every week, and there's a barbecue every weekend. All my uncles are playing cards. My dad's, they're talking smack and playing all these different games, and whoever loses has to buy the dessert.
Was your dad gregarious and loud?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was like, he wasn't like,
Are you
maybe
more
a little
mom
bit.
or dad, I guess?
My dad, I'm a little mix of both, man. I'm a really solid mix of both. I have the like exploratory, like the exploration that my dad had. Like he really wanted to figure out what was going on. He would really travel a lot and want to see the world. And
Curious.
he was so curious in that way. And my mother was, very funny, poetic. She still to this day like writes poetry, and she wakes up that's her life. Like she wakes up in the morning, she's inspired by something, she writes it. Sometimes it's super sad but thoughtful and sweet. Sometimes it's funny. Like they have a really fantastic. I feel like I have a great mix of both. But my dad was really outgoing. He was the first guy on the dance floor, get everybody going. And he was that guy for sure.
9, I have a ton of memories before 9. Do you remember? Yeah, living there?
Everything. But we also come from like the Sham region, which is like basically Santa Barbara, so gorgeous. You know what I mean? The weather is stunning. There's not really any desertous regions unless you go super south or you hit the Jordan Valley. That's where it becomes that way. And there's Bedouins there, of course. There's tons of, sheep herders and whatnot. We do come from a farming culture originally.
Santa Barbara seems to be the place. When my parents first came to visit here, they were like, we went to Santa Barbara on a day trip, and they were like, this reminds me of India. I was like, what? And then we've had a few other people from other places say like, Santa Barbara's kind of like this person,
it's a common
this person.
parallel, as it turns out.
Turns out.
It's not really suited for that kind of like living, to be honest. It's not like you don't go to explore the desert there per se.
Right.
But surely like in Kuwait, we did that. I used to ride the bikes there. We used to like set up like as kids, we just, set up mounds and we just dive off of them. And, you just bounce off of that shit and just keep going. Just ruthless. We just get dirt bikes. I would hop on the back of dirt bikes and fall off going 40 miles an hour. But we just get up and just fine. It was terrible. But you're 8. You're just like rubber band. Yeah, it doesn't even matter.
You went to a British speaking school.
Yeah.
What kind of classmates did you have?
People from all over the world, right? So, a bunch of expats lived in the neighborhood we resided in since my father worked for the Kuwaiti oil company.
Yeah.
Essentially, it wasn't like it is a compound, situation where it's like that area, that neighborhood. Yeah, I think it's like north and south is, where we lived in Ahmadi, had so many families, just so diverse, like super, super diverse. You're talking about British, Pakistani, Swiss, you name it, bro. Everybody lived in that neighborhood.
And most of the people
tons of Palestinians too.
Neighborhood working for the oil company.
Exactly. And everybody had a different job within the company itself. Like Aramco Oil Company, you go overseas, that's the biggest oil company in the world, number one, but it's like a massive, massive it's like driving onto a military base.
Right.
So it was like that. Our neighborhood, at the end of it, there was like the hospitality palace. So anybody that visited, like there would be presidents that would visit or whatnot, they would put them up there. And that was like where they could chill.
I would ride
enjoy.
by on my bike if I was a kid and try to see who was staying in the palace.
All the time.
Would you? Yeah.
All the
I'd
time.
be so curious. Like, is
All
Michael
the time.
Jackson going to come out of the palace?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh no, we're all over it. We'd see cars come in, we immediately just pedal over there and just talk to the security guy in the front. Like,
Try to figure out who this wealthy man is.
What's happening? What's happening?
Yeah, what we got here?
He's like, trust me, you don't want to know. It's like
Michael Jackson?
some guy from Malaysia, the president of Malaysia. Or something like, okay, let us know.
Salt in the Brunei.
Yeah, Michael Jackson was the big thing. We used to mimic him. He was the thing back then for sure.
Oh, God, yeah.
But yeah, no, we would do that all the time for sure.
So Gulf War breaks out in 91.
90, yeah. 90. It was like August of 90. The reason why I remember exactly
The invasion
the Iraqi invasion was then. And I remember it quite well because I was supposed to have my tonsils removed 2 days before, after they came in, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, damn it. So now for the rest of my life, I still have my tonsils in.
Tonsillitis.
Fuck you. Yeah.
Might have been a happy accident.
No, it's not, bro. They're miserable. I have enormous tonsils.
I bet they're gorgeous.
They're massive. They are gorgeous. They are mountainous. You can ski off of those fucking things.
You
for
could
sure.
probably get them out now.
I am so scared. They're talking about like the way
Adults are supposed to do it.
Really?
It's
it's like 50-50 bleed or something crazy, like heavy bleeding.
Was it someone on here?
6 weeks to 8 weeks recovery, no talking.
They cauterize it, but you can't feel. You can't feel if it's bleeding down into your stomach.
Oh.
And you can basically.
Well, see, that's all I needed to hear to make it even worse.
But what about why are the kids why are they able to?
I don't know.
They're just not as
tinier,
mature, I think.
or easier to categorize.
Okay.
I think it's not as mature enough. It's very it's a in and out procedure for kids.
Yeah.
But someone was just telling, an adult was like really battling whether or not to do it. They don't like to do it on adults because it's bleeding.
Wow.
I went to the top specialist at UCLA and they were like, 50-50, they're gonna bleed, but you'll be fine. It's just gonna take a lot longer to heal. I was like, you know what?
Nah.
I'll just take antibiotics or something.
I'll take my big ass tonsils
I'll
out of
just
here.
fine. And what if I do a lot of voices too? Like, what if it affects
Yeah, it's
how
true.
how I do all these accents and stuff? Like, what if I just end up talking like this all the time now? Like, I would just be like, my life is ruined because I sound terrible.
So the invasion's in August. The U.S. enters, as I remember, because my birthday is January 2nd, and I had gotten my license in 91 on the 2nd, and it was the only thing that played in the radio when I feel like it was like maybe January 1st of 91, the U.S. entered.
Yeah. I had left before that, but go ahead.
You left before the U.S. response.
Yeah, it was it was really, really intense because that was the first time I knew that we were stateless, number one. Like, I didn't know, I just knew this happy life. I knew that we were, had family all next. I didn't know anything was wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
With we couldn't just
That you weren't like holding
I was
a
like, why don't we
passport.
just go back to Palestine? Let's go back to West. But like, why can't we?
Right.
And they're like, no, we can't necessarily do that either. It's not the best next step. Let's figure it out. And it was the first time seeing, your parents are this, you see them and like, they're your pillars. Like they're always in control. There's nothing ever wrong.
Seemingly know everything.
Yeah. And to see them so worried.
Yeah.
And I remember this to this day, that call at 6 a.m. I remember the phone ringing, at those days, the phone wake up the entire house.
Yeah.
Ring, ring,
Yeah.
I was like, who the hell's calling? And I remember getting up and my mom picking up the phone. It was like, Saddam has invaded Kuwait, hangs up, and now everyone is out to try to get as many resources for the house, food, rice, water, whatever you can get
Yeah.
to just store it. And yeah, that's when everything changed. And they got to our house at 1 o'clock in the morning and I was passed out. I was asleep. I slept through the whole breaking of the door, ransacking the home. They were threatening my mom and my dad. Who's in this bedroom? Who's in this bedroom? They were pointing at my bedroom and they were threatening they were going to throw a grenade in the bedroom.
Oh my God.
Like, tell us. And my mom and they were trying to figure out who works at the Kuwait oil company, since the whole reason of their invasion to begin with is the supposed siphoning of, Iraqi oil and whatnot, whatever.
Was that their premise? They were diagonally drilling in?
That's what
was
they
the
were saying.
premise?
I don't know what exactly is. It feels like, Yeah, it's a bigger conversation to me now. As a grown ass man, I see what's everything going on living in America. Now I know like who's been putting all these people in power and doing it. Whatever. Let's talk about that thing. But that was the premise: is that Kuwait was stealing from them, and he's there to take it back. That's the idea.
Okay.
But then since it's the Kuwaiti oil company, so our neighborhood was
First stop.
Yeah, first stop. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it was all about collecting people who are,
who could help manage and turn over the control of it.
Exactly.
Your dad's like, I just do telephones.
Well, that's the biggest fucking thing, right?
Okay.
Communication.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was like one of their, probably on their top 5 list.
Oh, wow.
Of transferring all communication to where
right.
transfer it to Iraq,
Yeah.
So my dad had one choice: either do it or we, potentially your family is at risk.
Yeah.
Might take them all out. Who knows? You're not gonna find out if they're
Bluffing
or not.
Yeah, exactly.
You're just gonna say, yeah, it's me. What are you gonna do? Like, what is he gonna do? So he was forced to go in and redirect
Oh, wow.
some of it, from what I've heard, some of it at that time, and he regrets it. He didn't feel good about any of it.
Well,
Well, he had to protect himself.
And he
and
loved Kuwait, and he loved the people of Kuwait. He loved everything there, and he was just saddened to see it all happen that way. But he was also just protecting our family. So like soldiers would show up early in the morning at our house and just constantly all throughout the whole street. It was pretty regular, but I felt like our house was like a spot,
Yeah.
It became that, and we play soccer with these guys. Like they was just, have me like hold the machine gun. I was like, I don't hold the machine gun.
Yeah.
It was that weird, like different life. Just everything changed.
Right.
Yeah.
And trying to evaluate, are these guys mean and evil?
They weren't.
Right. But when they first show up with the guns.
They had moments.
Right.
They had moments though.
Yeah.
I remember this guy, he had a thick stash, huge, but I was really fast as a kid and I played tons of soccer. So I was killing these older guys. I was killing them, and he just socks me real hard. And I remember being laid out on the ground, and I look up and I see him, and this is how he felt like he was laughing. He goes, and I was like,
Like a Bond
that's
villain.
evil, bro.
Yeah.
It felt evil. I know he's not, but he was just like fucking with me. But I can't forget his face. I can. If a sketch artist was sitting here, I could draw him.
Wow.
It's that kind of. You never forget that. You know.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
But yeah, that was like a wild experience that I slept through that first initial invasion. They took over the whole neighborhood. My mom and dad are both in a really terrible position.
Yeah.
My dad particularly, and a bunch of other employees or ex-employees. Some people were able to get out before they came in. Some people didn't. It's a really, really difficult situation, especially with us. You have kids and, there's other kids that were studying overseas. What about them? How are we going to do it? What's going to happen? So many different.
Do you have
And
siblings?
then the money's gone. Yeah, I'm the sixth of six.
Okay.
So all the money's gone overnight. Saddam said, the Kuwaiti dinar is equivalent to the Iraqi dinar. Well, the Kuwaiti dinar was like 4 times. Absolutely insane. Yeah. It was one of those things.
So how did Dad get you guys all out?
Well, my mom.
'Cause he stayed, right?
Yeah, my mom and dad. So then the show, I had to tweak it.
Yeah.
But in real life, what happened is my mom got myself and my sister out. My brother stayed with my dad.
Uh-huh.
We got on the bus. My mom strategically hid the money in the suitcase.
Yeah.
In a really insanely savvy way. I never saw the side of my mother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you grow up all of your whole life. You're only 9, yes, but you just have this. You just think your mom's a superhero at this point. Like, how are you coming up with this? Like grabbing the razor, cutting back the zipper, putting equal
things
amounts
we'll
of money
do
on
to
each side.
survive.
It's incredible, sewing it together and I just remember it to this day. Like I can't forget it. And going through the bus, through Iraq, basically war zone, through another war zone, to Amman, Jordan, to my mom sending my sister and I to Houston.
By yourselves?
By ourselves.
How old was your sister?
She was 18. Probably 18, 19.
So 9 and 18.
Yeah, 9 and 18.
You're so scared. I'm
Mortified.
assuming.
I'm miserable. I don't want to leave. I totally don't want to leave.
And
I
you're
want to
afraid
stay.
they're
I
not
could give a
safe.
shit. I could give a shit about the guns. Like it didn't bother me at all.
Right.
I was literally very fearless. I did not care. I would go out still on my own. I would still go out.
Yeah.
Scope it out. What's happening in the neighborhood. I was just kind of crazy that way. But I love my friends and I wanted to see them.
Yeah.
And I didn't necessarily allow that invasion to change that for me.
Right.
And I knew they weren't going to hurt me. Like they're not going to hurt kids.
Yep.
They were very gentle with children, actually.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really that for me, but I didn't want to leave my mother. I didn't want to leave I thought like I could be really helpful.
Right.
It wasn't like, I don't want to leave you, well, my friends. No, it was more like, hey, I'm a helping hand here. Like,
Right.
this sucks. I have to go. How are you going to do this on your own?
Yeah.
And that was like the thing that really ripped me apart more than anything.
Who did she send you to?
My brother was in Houston. He was
He was.
studying in Houston.
Okay. Is this the brother that became a doctor?
Yes, he's a PhD in biochemistry. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's super brilliant, amazing human. And then she goes back. Like, she went back on by herself, goes back to Kuwait. And that's where all the real hell started. Because there was like all this posturing between America and Iraq, and say Saddam and saying, go back. No, we're not going to go back. This is ours. Oh, yeah. And then the oil fields went on fire. And now it's a completely different world. Literally, noon looks like midnight. You know,
Yeah.
It's not the same. So then of course the Iraqis started to retreat. It was a big like heist. Like they were clearing out Mercedes dealerships. The Iraqis were overnight, bro. Like they were gone. He released a bunch of prisoners from Iraq in there just to create chaos.
Oh my God.
Throughout that was his like strategy of war, I guess.
Mhm.
So it was that was unfolding, and then there was a really massive situation that happened with my mom and my dad. My dad in particular is that the Kuwaitis started to regain power, as they should. It's their country. They started forming these different militias. So they came into my dad's house, our house. This is my story from my mom. They knock on the door. They ask about a car for sale because we're liquidating everything.
Mhm.
And she goes, I don't know if it's for sale. Let me ask my husband. She asks him, and as he comes out, they put a hood over him, kidnap him, and he's gone.
What?
She doesn't know where he is. Nothing. Nothing. Okay. Then the American soldiers come in. So you had the Iraqis come in, burst down the door. You had the Kuwaitis come burst in the door, and then you had the U.S. soldiers come burst in the back door. My brother is neurodivergent, has his own issues and whatnot, so he just. It's chaos. She's trying to get medicine for him. She doesn't know where my dad is, who's diabetic and has his own set of issues. Don't know what's happening. And so out of nowhere, this is like crazy. It's a whole fucking movie. So it's really intense. So my dad was able to call my mom. They were like holding all these people, like trying to see who's the actual traitor, who's not the traitor, who stuck for us, who didn't, you know.
Yeah, right.
They're trying to regain their power, right? And I think I honestly don't hold anything against the Kuwait. I totally get why they're doing it.
Right.
Unfortunately, my dad was an impossible situation.
Yes.
Right? So it's
Yeah.
like somebody has to vouch for you. You can't just leave. Right?
Yeah.
They got to know that it wasn't an inside job for sure.
Right.
And I genuinely don't hold anything against them. I really love them. They're good people. Like,
Yeah.
Kuwaitis are some of the gentle, sweetest people. So, but in this situation, it was awful. My dad, she doesn't know where my dad is. So they had like all these like makeshift prisons and like office buildings and stuff. They were holding people and torture them to a certain degree to get stuff out of them. And what did they have issues with at the jail? Communication. They couldn't get fucking calls out. They couldn't get anything going. They couldn't get a dial tone. So my dad goes, I can fix it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? He fixed it for him. While he's fixing it, they're not in the room. He calls my mom. Like totally calls my mom. Listen, you got to find the prime minister. He's a friend of mine. He loves me. I love him. I know him.
Yeah.
You got to find him. He's the head guy in Kuwait. You got to talk to him. He's the only one that can free me. Just get to him and let's get the hell out of here. And my mom's like, what about the money? We have to get your money. You're owed this. This is your money you worked 25 years for.
Yeah.
You got to get it back. And my dad's like, fuck the money. Like, just get me out of this hellhole. And my mom goes, the gangster that she is, I'm going to find this guy and I'm going to get your money. And remember, like she's driving, it's like soot is in the air. Like she's navigating all through these like roads. They're just like, it's just disgusting, right?
Yeah.
All these oil rigs on fire has caused chaos throughout the roads and the environment and breathing, everything.
Yeah.
It's really, really terrible. So now she's just on a journey trying to find him. This is 3 weeks.
Oh my
Over 3 weeks.
Oh, wow.
She says there was one time the militia had like this checkpoint. They told her, how do we know this car is not stolen? Because people are just stealing so much or whatever.
Yeah.
He goes, I need to see the title for this car. She goes, I don't know where the title is for the car. Well, you need to find it. You can't get through here. She goes back to the house. She said, I don't know. She says, Wallahi Mo, she swore to God. She said, I don't know how it happened, but it's like, I couldn't see anything. It was pitch black. I just reach into a pile of papers and it's the title to the car.
Yeah.
It was just like most incredible thing. She goes in after weeks of weeks trying to trace this guy down. She finds some jail. She hears that he's there, this prime minister. She's talking to the outside security. She's like crying to him, saying, my husband's been wrongly imprisoned. I need to find this, that. And she was like, he goes, if you don't stop crying, I'm gonna put you in jail with him, like kind of threatening her. She goes, listen, I need to talk to the prime minister. He knows my husband. He gets shocked. He gets scared. He's like, what? Oh yeah, he's here. So my mom walks into this building. She could hear guys like not having the best time. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
She's walking down this flickery hallway with fluorescent flickering everywhere. She goes and makes a right into the guy's office. She looks around the office. It's pristine. It's gorgeous. It's the direct opposite of the building she just walked through. But then she looks at all the technology in the room. She goes, she recognizes it immediately. She goes, this is all my husband's stuff. And he says, who are you? She tells him who she is, tells him who her husband is. He freaks out. He's like, where's Mustafa? I love him. Where is he at? He was like, this is what's happened, so. He's like, impossible. He's not a traitor. He's a great man, this and that. He goes, how many letters you need? I'll sign them all. Sign a letter for her. She got it. She went back. She picked him up at the airport. They meet at the airport with my brother and my dad. Comes in. He's all 50 days now with full beard, all this stuff. And they go, where's your two other kids? Where's mom and where's, his sister? And she goes, oh, they already left. And they go, well, how do we know they're not here and they're hiding? And we imprisoned his father without he's innocent and all that. What if they want revenge or something? He's like, we don't want revenge. We forgive you. Forget it. He's over there. He's like, no, now you got to show proof.
Oh, Jesus.
So she has to go by another 2 days of that. Then she collects my dad. They go to Amman. My mom, my brother come like 9 months later.
Wow.
Yeah, I've never told this story. It's crazy that I said this.
92, your dad come?
My dad, yeah, about 92. I got Houston 2 days before Halloween in 1990.
1990.
Like October or something of 1990.
Okay.
And then Halloween happened, and I've never seen Halloween before.
Were
I was
you
looking around
scared?
like, why is everybody dressed like demons?
Yeah.
Where did my mom send me?
Yeah.
This is evil.
Yeah, that's-
You heard we were a
You
godless
get-
country,
You
and
did.
boy, did you.
Did we deliver?
delivered.
It was so funny.
Yeah, what a welcoming.
Hilarious moment. Yeah, it was
Oh my
so
God.
scary.
Everyone in devil costumes.
I've never
walking
even
around.
seen cleavage, and like all the girls
Yeah.
are naked. I'm like, whoa, it's
Yeah.
just crazy.
And asking for chocolate and candy.
Yeah, exactly. It's just wow.
Trick or treat.
It was really, and I had a British accent. I stuck out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
Nobody really researched like the neighborhood we moved into. It wasn't like the greatest neighborhood right out the gate.
And your brother had just guided everyone to where
Yeah, my brother was just going to
But he's a young
he's a
kid.
young
It's
kid
cool.
too. He's a
Yeah.
super nerd. It was next to a stop and go, and that's the only thing we had. I would go there, and that's when I knew America. I'm gonna go back to war.
What'd your mom and dad do in the States?
My dad was he came to once he came to the States, he's an entrepreneur. So he just, he owned electronic stores actually in Kuwait as well. Like it was like a side gig. It was like he was like the first Best Buy there,
Oh, okay.
He was like the first guy that had like Radio Shack basically before
Yeah.
Radio Shack.
So he opened up a place in Houston.
He opened up a 99-cent store, but then he started with his knowledge, realizing that it's really like a poor neighborhood.
Yeah.
So he was like, oh, I can bring like telephones that they don't have access to for a really great price. So he brings them in and he starts showing. It was a 99 cents plus. That's how they get you is that plus.
Sure.
So it's a wide range.
A lot of wiggle room
of
in you.
goods, a lot of wiggle room.
He adjusted to American culture pretty quickly.
Pretty
He's adding
quickly.
the
He learned
plus.
it quick.
He wore a suit every day.
He would call people from the living room
Yeah,
and tell them they want a
exactly.
free cruise. He figured it all
You want a
out.
free telephone? It's $200.
Guess what? Congratulations! It's so funny. But he would sell these phones. Like he would just had a whole display of a wide variety of phones that did different things.
Yeah.
And whether if it's a football phone, whether it's one that you can push a hold button and it plays music of your choosing. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
That was like the
It's a
tech
big
of that
deal.
time.
Yeah.
So he had all of it, and we would sell them like hotcakes. He was just selling them like crazy. So I think that eventually he would have probably gotten back in the telecom and
Yeah.
the way that cell phones are today. I mean, I always think about it. I had a discussion yesterday. I was like, I wonder Probably been very rich, actually. Now I think about it. Probably.
Certainly.
Yeah.
So he dies in 94?
95.
95?
Yeah, December 1995.
So you're young. You're 14?
I'm 14, yep.
Why did he die so prematurely?
I think it's the losing everything. You know, I think that losing it in your like late 50s, you know, I say it's like going from rags to essentially riches and going to rags again after spending your whole life trying to create a future for yourself and your family and your kids and having the ability to provide for them on a level that, you know, that is going to be basically really difficult to do at this age, you know? And he never really like diversified his funds and never really thought, you know, he was so safe in Kuwait, never really thought something was gonna go down like this. And unfortunately, I think that's what happened. I think all my dad's friends and my, you know, my uncles on both sides, they all like, except my mom's side, I only had one uncle from my mother's side, but they all died fairly young.
Prematurely.
Yeah, I think it's just like the massive, massive stress of the war, the carrying that burden, carrying that weight around really took its toll and eventually chipped away at him, unfortunately. I think that's what happened.
How scary does life get at 14 with him now out of the picture? Like
it's terrible.
How's mom getting by? How are you guys making it work?
It's terrible. It's emotionally, you're gone. I was already checked out because my mom didn't come for like 9 months. So I was really angry about being there without my mom. Yeah. My sister, you know, she's
God bless her.
She's
18.
She's a saint, bro. My sister is an absolute saint. I'm telling you, she's like a saintly human being. Like, God bless her. She only knew how to cook one dish. You know, it's just like we actually left. One of the things that my mom gave my sister was a recipe book that had all these different pieces of paper from different eras. From my grandmother, my great-grandmother, from my great-great-great-grandma. It went back like almost 100+ years. It's pretty intense. But these are all the recipes. Take these are gold. You know? Go take care of your brother, heirloom, you know? But she would only make one dish, and I just come home 7 days in a row. I was like, rice and lentil again? Where's my mom? You know, I want to go home. And meanwhile, cut to my mom. She's like driving through oil fields and trying to find me. You little ungrateful bitch. It was really difficult, and I was always very independent and adventurous, and I wanted to be out. And so nobody could really control me, and I didn't know what to do with my emotions. So I was a 14-year-old kid in high school. I just skipped right away. I was just skipping and just like whatever. I already knew I was going to be a comedian.
Did you make friends easily?
Oh, yeah.
So you landed on your feet. You were social.
It was rough at first. You know, the British English thing did not help. It was a Mexican situation pretty regularly, but then the British accent were like, you're not Mexican.
Right.
But what the hell are you? I was like the first, you know, and usually in my class, I was like the first Mohammed there. So I learned, you know, I spoke British English, and at times I did not know that British English, certain words were significantly different meaning than American English. Like I walked up to my 4th grade teacher. I was like, Mrs. Strand, can I have a rubber, please? Mrs. Strand, I made a mess on my paper, you know? And she's like, what?
You came on your paper?
Yeah, came on your paper, exactly.
You were wearing
my friend Bruce was like, you fucking in 4th grade? Bro, what is fucking? You know, like I had no idea. We had a cat, you know, and you don't say cat. In British English, you say pussy. And I walked up to Bruce at recess. At recess, the most embarrassing possible spot. I was like, Bruce, guess what? He was like, what, man? He was like, I have a pussy now. Isn't it fantastic? And he was like, what? And his thing is like, I learned this quickly about black people. They can't hold it in. They have to tell everybody. They're like, come on, everybody, gather around. Everybody, gather around.
Fresh off the presses.
Exactly. He got everybody around in front of the entire class at recess. He was like, watch this. He's like, Mo, do you have a pussy? And I was like, yeah, I have a pussy. He's like, lovely. It's small and fluffy. Just kept going with it. And my Jose would lost his mind. He was like, what, bro? You have a Pinocchio for real, bro? Like, estás en serio, bro? And he was like so confused.
This
and then he paused.
Sounds like a sitcom.
And he paused and he goes, can I see it, bro? Like, like I don't believe you, bro. Like, it was like, I got punched a lot in the beginning, but I learned quickly. I learned very quickly.
But you had the right skill set, it sounds like. Minimally. You weren't lonely. That's a blessing.
When I threw a football, everything changed. It was like, this guy can throw the fuck out of a football.
Oh, no kidding. You could.
I was very athletic. I would play ball, play basketball. Right. I was very unassuming. Nobody knew that I could play that well. I wasn't always like overweight, actually. I almost died in 6th grade. I hit my head on the bottom of a pool, and that's when I gained all the weight because I was in a neck brace like this the whole time. I was like,
scary.
almost
Oh my
died. It was
God.
terrifying. I don't know why I knew exactly what I had to do. I was spitting blood. Again, it was almost Halloween, so everybody thought I had like blood capsules, and I was joking around at the pool.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, guys, I think I'm about to die. You know what I mean? Like, I walked right past my mom, grabbed a towel, wrapped it around my neck. I was like, Mom, you need to take me to the hospital.
Oh, God.
And went to
You're
the
so
hospital.
lucky you weren't
So lucky you
paralyzed.
wasn't paralyzed or dead. I just think about it, not even for that. I think about like my mom.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
right?
You know?
Oh,
Would
yeah.
she want to take it?
She didn't have enough on her plate.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's happening financially though when Dad is out of the picture?
I mean, it's like one of those things where you just have to fend for yourself. You have to figure it out. So my mom worked at a Mexican restaurant,
Okay.
which turned into Taco Cabana, which is like very famous in Houston. Everybody goes to Taco Cabana.
Oh, okay.
It's like the fast food chain of Tex-Mex.
Yeah.
Dinner was lots of Mexican food.
Sure.
But also you can negotiate for rides, you know. Hey man, I'll throw in a quesadilla if you can just bring me here or take me there. All right, 2 quesadillas. All right, now you're asking for a lot. We do 2 quesadillas and tacos, but I
need
want
round
4
trip.
rides. Yeah, we just negotiate. Exactly. It was a fun time. Honestly, it was really dark, but also one of my, some of my greatest years, and my friends that I've made when I was 11 years old in that particular neighborhood. We're like the Sandlot. Like we made a pact. Like we're gonna raise our kids together. We're gonna go to college together. I always said I'm gonna be a comedian. You guys are gonna go to college. I'll visit you guys. And everything really panned out exactly how we all set out to be. And really, truly, like that group of friends, that camaraderie, that brotherhood that we created in that beautiful neighborhood has what got me through everything. That support system.
All the while, you've applied for asylum.
Yeah.
You don't have passports, right? You don't have a Kuwaiti passport.
No, in the Middle East, it's all about your lineage, right? So when you go there, actually, when you enter, they say, Esh Aslak, like, what is your origin?
Yeah.
And you say Palestinian. Where you're Palestinian, you either can get an ID card, Palestinian ID cards,
Okay.
which you can, and then you can get a Palestinian. It's worthless. It's like not,
Right.
you can't, it's even actually worse.
Okay.
So my uncle always taught me, he said, like, don't get the ID card. If you do, then you're not gonna ever be able to fly into Tel Aviv when you get your U.S. passport. You're always gonna be subjugated to the cages.
There'll be a record of
going
this.
through. Well, no, you'll go through the cages. Like you literally have to go through like this apartheid system where you like literally go through cages. You go through here, and it's like a really. He says, just don't do it. You know? It's better for you to just wait.
And even though you were born in Kuwait, you don't have any Kuwaiti citizenship.
That's not how it works. Yeah, it's not how it works. It works like it's all based off of your origin, where your parents come from.
Right.
So my parents are both Palestinian, so you're Palestinian. You don't get like Kuwaiti citizenship because in Kuwait you become, it's all tribal, right? So if you're an original Kuwaiti, like from that area, and you get the government takes care, like you should.
You get
like,
a stipend.
Yeah, so the resources that your country is producing,
Yeah.
you actually benefit from those resources.
Yeah.
And you get this. So they can't do it for everyone. So it's like you have to be from that land, and your right is your right.
Right.
My right is in the West Bank in Palestine, or in Haifa, that was now gone. That's Israel. So now we go to the West Bank, and whatever is there, that's for you. But that's not for you here. So that's not how it works. It's where you're actually from, where
Right.
your parents are from, particularly.
So I guess we get into some of the complexities of
Yes.
this immigration story you have, because you're just waiting forever on the asylum list, however that process works. But in the meantime, you have no passport to
Yes.
go anywhere. You can't really you can't come and go. You're just in this kind of purgatory.
Yes, exactly.
For how long?
For 20 years. It took me 20 years before I got my citizenship, but when I turned 18 is when I was able to get a social security card and be in the system.
Right.
And I was in the system before, but I couldn't get the social.
Okay.
So that was like the annoying part.
And
I
you
can't
can't
remember
work
why.
until you have a social.
You can't
right?
work. I still worked. Like my mom would volunteer me down there, business owners, and I had like jobs that I didn't want to do, but I did. Where I would sell like fake Rolexes or fake watches, like through my dad, because he would go to the wholesale district. Once he passed away, Allah yarhamu, God rest his soul, his friend gave me a job, and then I started learning about wholesale business, import, export.
Yeah.
And I started seeing this guy wearing this nice watch. I'm like, bro, that's crazy. He goes, it's fake. I was like, oh, it looks amazing though.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, I think I could hustle these
Yeah.
in school and on the street here. I could like really just, all I have to do is wear it.
Yeah.
Nobody's seen it. And then they're going to ask me where you got it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell them it's for sale. So that was my shtick. I would just put on a Versace sunglasses and, be working at the cashier or whatever. And people would be like, oh man, those are dope. I'm like, oh, it's the last pair, bro. I'll sell them to you if you want. It's $125. And they would leave and I'd take out another pair and put it on.
Sure. Your second to last pair.
And it would be so bad because at the end of the week, they're all wearing the same shit. And they would come in really mad and aggressive. Like, bro, you told me it was the last one. I was like, this. And I was like, look. For real though, this is one of one. This Movado watch is the only one I have.
Oh my
There's no other design of this. I promise you, nobody else is gonna have this.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, "Oh man, that's cool." I was like, "Yeah," and I would sell that
Oh
one.
my
It was
God.
like I was really good at it to the point. And my dad's friend, where he got me the job, he put his own stand up. And I was like, why are you doing this? You're not going to compete with me? This is crazy. He goes, bro, you're selling at my location. And that's where I learned, about business, right? It was like, oh, I'm using your essentially your place of business.
Yeah.
I owe you
You
commission.
got to kick up.
You got to kick up. I didn't know this.
Yeah.
And he goes, it's a valuable lesson. Don't worry. You still sell. Just give me the commission. I was like, okay.
Yeah. When we meet
Nice.
Mo on season 1, he's selling shit out of his trunk.
Yeah.
He's got like
Yeah.
a full.
It's a very
A full
condensed
shot.
version. I really wanted to do more with it, but I think there's not enough space and it's so hard to figure out. And the first season was it was a whole thing, like with the COVID and with like civil unrest and George Floyd. It was like a nightmare making season 1, to be honest.
Was
with you.
it?
It was really, really tough. Yeah, it was really tough. But season 2, I like had the whole vision for it. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I had the time.
And to do the Reader's Digest version, you go to the rodeo and Bill Cosby's performing.
Yes.
You're young and you see that. You decide you want to do that. You're a shit student. A teacher says to you, I'll let you stand up so long as you're making fun of the course material.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's a lucky, weird thing that
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah, no, Mrs. Reed and Ms. Broderick, my English teachers, specifically Mrs. Reed, she really was noticing that I was like losing it because I was a pretty good student, before that. And I basically threw away my 9th grade year essentially at that point, and she was trying to salvage whatever she could out of me. She said, if you go up in front of the class, like at first she said, how would your father feel if you don't graduate? Which I was like, oh, that's a cold shot. You know what I mean? Like just hit me in the hardest way.
Yeah.
And then she was like, don't you want to be a comedian? I was like, yes. I was like, look, I'll let you do stand-up in class. If you could throw in some Shakespeare that we're working on now, you'll get extra credit, but you don't always have to do it. And I was like, great, can I do it now? She was like, yes. I literally went in front of the class, read out of the book. Can I read out a textbook? I don't know this by heart. It's monologue from Macbeth. I don't fucking know this. And so I did just a funny version in the British voice that I used to have. And kids were dying. I was like, oh my God, I'm hooked.
Yeah.
So I was like, Reed, can I come in tomorrow and like, I'll write a set tonight? And she was like, okay. Next day, write a set, did it, killing. I was like, oh my God. And then I would just do it every Friday. And she took me into the theater arts department. And she like, it was Miss Kreisner, who I'm still closer to this day, my theater teacher from high school. She goes, listen, this kid's been coming to class. He's doing all this original material I've never heard before. He's doing all these accents. Like, it's hilarious. She goes, I think he belongs here.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe,
Yeah.
The next year, did theater and then graduated with honors in theater, honorary thespian, had a partial scholarship for the School of Film and Television in New York. I passed on that. I didn't even tell a single soul. I was like, I'm gonna do comedy. I don't want them to talk me into it,
Yeah.
I didn't want to leave my mother, my mom, my brother. I didn't want her to be close and just build up my stand-up chops and let that define my career.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
And then you enter at some point young, 18 still, you enter this like funniest Texan.
Yeah, Houston's funniest person competition. They have this around the country in each city, but that was like a big one. If you can get into that, like that was my first time on stage at a comedy club.
Yeah.
And I get there and I was so excited. And Nick, my buddy Nick, who drove me to the club, He was my guy. He still is my buddy.
For 2 quesadillas.
He's my brother. Yeah, for 2 quesadillas. That's right. He looks at me. He was trying to be corny. He's like, "You ready, Mo? This is the first date of the rest of your life."
Yeah.
But he was being serious also. And I went up on there, caught the bug, made like this wild card position. And I realized when I signed up, I was like, "Oh shit, all my materials for high school students. Like these are grown ass adults.
Yeah.
I need to fix this." So I rewrote something till 3 o'clock in the morning. I go up, I do it, and I get into the system that way, and I find out what I need to do. I joined it the following year. I made the finals, didn't win the thing, but then I went off and, just started doing stand-up, right? I was headlining by the time I was 19, 20 years old. I was already like headlining shows and stuff. And traveling overseas without a passport.
Yeah, how is that?
You get a refugee travel document. You can just get that. And it was like a really painful process, very expensive. But that was the only way to go overseas.
Because you were doing a lot of stand-up at bases, right?
Yes, I did some bases. Yeah, I did it. The first tour that I did was April of 2001. It was Italy, Germany, and Sicily. It was a baby.
Uh-huh.
And it was obviously 5 months before 9/11.
Yeah.
It was just a totally different experience. And then I did that. Then I went to Japan, Korea, and Guam, all those military bases. In like February of 2002, something like that. I started doing all those shows then. It was like polar opposite from the first time. Now everything is heightened, but I wanted to do those shows and be myself. I was like, because I was deathly afraid of being myself.
Yeah.
I was like really scared. I said, if I can go to fucking front of the troops and be myself, talk shit, make them laugh, I could be myself in front of anybody.
Yeah.
That's why they love me. I went on many, many tours. And my experience was actually that the soldiers themselves had interacted with someone like me many times, and they were excited to see me. Versus when I was touring in the South, early on in my career, it was their first interaction with someone like me. It was that polar opposite. They're actually well-traveled human beings.
Yeah.
And more knowledgeable than you think.
Yeah.
And it's not as unsafe as I thought it was.
Yes.
And I did that shit in Iraq. I went back to Iraq, bro. I did shows there, still with a refugee travel document, and in war zones, the very place that we left. And I'm doing shows on bases all throughout Iraq in the most desolate of locations where they can fucking kill me and throw me somewhere. No one's gonna care.
Yeah.
And I had some of the best sets and some of like one-of-one experiences in a state in Saddam Hussein's palace, which is converted into a hotel. And I just went there just to see it for myself and kind of collect information and put this thing to rest that's in my heart, like that was just lingering. And I wanted to see my aunt that I haven't seen in 19 years. She was the only one that was still living in Kuwait at the time. So it was many different things. I had to sneak into the country, basically. I mean, I just used the power that, all right, I'm here for the U.S. government and kind of just, moving him in that direction. He was like, okay. And he just let me in. And then when I was leaving, I stayed 3 extra days to see my aunt, and I wasn't supposed to.
Right.
So the military wanted to walk me back to the airplane with the other comedian, Olivia Arrington. And I was like, we're fine. We're adults, bro. We're going to go. And he's like, no, in military protocol, I got to escort you all the way to the plane. I was like, God dang it. How the hell am I going to do this? And Olivia's like, maybe you go hide in the fucking bathroom. I was like, okay, shit. And then he gets a call. And he runs to the SUV and he answers. I see him talking. This is what's going on. He comes back. He's like, sorry, guys. Bradley Cooper just landed from Afghanistan. I got to go get him. We're like, all right, thank you, Bradley.
You want to hear something crazy?
Yeah.
I was with him.
Yes. Dude, that's fucking nuts.
Weird.
It was me,
Dude,
Bradley.
My body just got chilled.
Yeah, that was wild.
Dude, I remember the fucking flyer. It's all hitting me right now.
Yeah, and we were
That's
in
wild.
Kuwait, and we went on a boat ride in Iraq. Like,
Yes. Floating, did you do the...
there was like Zodiac boats. And they were
Yes.
fucking doing cool maneuvers and shit. So
Bro, I
basically,
want to like laugh and cry at the same time. This is so...
somehow I'm involved
Bro, my life
in you
is
getting
all
to
like
go
this,
into
dude.
Yes,
Kuwait.
simulation.
No, my life
I didn't
is
see
all
that
like
coming.
this. Bro, I didn't see it coming either.
Yeah. That's when I got the fucking food poisoning coming home from that. we had been in Afghanistan for 8 days, and I had been eating at the DFAC, like the fucking microwave hamburgers.
Horrible.
We get to the Kuwait first class lounge, and I'm looking at all this fresh tabbouleh and delicious vegetables, and I'm pounding it. And Cooper goes, bro, you're going very hard on this
That's
fucking
so
salad
good.
bar in Kuwait. And I'm like, it's good. It's a first class
That's what
lounge.
will get you, by the way, is the damn salad bar.
Yeah, it's always salad.
Yeah.
Listeria. You got to be
Yeah.
careful.
100%.
Yeah,
Bro, I'm freaking out.
That's fucking hilarious.
I'm freaking out because I did tell
They
Bradley
need Bradley
that story.
Cooper.
That's so wild. That you
Yeah.
were there. I remember the fucking poster.
Was there anyone else or just you two?
There's
It was-
another person.
It was Bradley and his cousin, me and Aaron
Ed
Eckhart. Aaron Eckhart,
Oh my
Cooper's cousin
God,
from
dude.
Philly, and me.
Oh
Wow,
my
that's
God, dude.
That's really wild.
You literally crossed paths.
They were literally all there at the same time then. Because I was about to say, yeah, they didn't let us do shit. Like anytime we tried to wander or stray, or like the first time I went, we landed in Qatar.
Yeah.
We went to this nightclub. They took us to like
Yeah.
the GIs took us to a nightclub.
I thought it was dope.
And it was like, I'm going to go on the dance floor. And like, well, I had to get that cleared. Yeah, like they're on
very
you.
protective. It's too much.
They don't.
Yeah, it's
they
too
don't
much.
want the drama of
Yeah, of course.
you
Yeah,
getting kidnapped or some
liability.
shit.
It's not about getting kidnapped. It's you really making an ass of yourself, making them look bad because there's literal money at stake that they get every year. You know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Last thing they want is that getting fucked up because some
Bozo.
guy bozoed out. You know.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, thanks a lot, but we're getting $500 million over here, and you want to have a good time. And I thought I fucked up this contract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Monica's so sick of this story, but I
Yeah.
still think it's very funny that I did this. I had heard on my first tour that Larry the Cable Guy was coming the next week.
Yeah.
And they make you sign all this shit when you're there. You're signing the Apaches, you're signing
Oh yeah, yeah.
the Blackhawks. You're just signing everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And everything I signed, which had been signed by all the previous people,
Sure.
I wrote on every single one, "Get her done, Dax Shepard." Because I'm like, he's not going to have the catchphrase.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going to steal
I
it.
love it.
What does he write?
I really like
It's
that.
kind of like what we were saying at Kimmel.
That's really, yeah, kind of doing that. I love that, actually. They didn't make us sign shit. Really. You walk in like, come on, get on stage, bitch. Tell us a joke.
You're
whore.
late.
You know what I mean? Yeah, okay, guys. Hey, it's really rough out here, eh? Like,
If you were tracking your stand-up career, when does it keep, like when are the big level ups? Because of course I become aware of you watching Rami, which
Sure.
I love.
mhm.
And I'm like, who's this most hysterical
Oh, thank you.
person who's outshining, like needs his own show, and then
Yeah.
immediately had his own show.
Thank you.
That's my experience with you. So what was happening in the stand-up?
It's different levels, right? It's just different stages that you start to pass up. So I in 2011, Dave was making his comeback, starting to like really tour and
Hit
like
it
I'm gonna
again.
go for it now kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then we happened to be in the Bay at the same time. He was in Oakland, I was in the Bay doing stand up. And it was me and my buddy Uzra Usman, long time collaborator, worked for years, toured for years. He was like, Dave's in town. Let's just go over and hang out. So I would go over, hang out with him. And he was like, hey, you want to open? I was like, yeah. I go up. And then he was like, you want to come tomorrow? I was like, yeah, cool. He's like, I'm going to Atlanta. You want to come to Atlanta? I was like, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, it's like, 8 years of just
Wow.
constant touring with him. But in 2014 was the big turning point for me with Dave. He just gave me the inspiration. After a show at the House of Blues in Dallas, he walks up to me after my set. He's like, Mo, man, he said, it's killer, bro. He goes, what if you do a short film in front of your special, we put it together, I produce it, I think if you do it right, you could win an Emmy. And he like hits me in like the shoulder like that. I was like, oh shit, short film. And I couldn't sleep to save my life. It was like a week or two of me just obsessing on what this short film would be.
Yeah.
Must have listened to 100 tracks. I'm a really visual person. I need music to like help me illustrate the entire picture. And it just clicked when I listened to Elvis Presley's That's All Right Mama. That song, That's All Right Mama, That's All Right Now. That's all right, mama. You just do as you do. Oh, that's all right. When he did that, I was like, saw my mom just putting everything together, getting us out of Kuwait.
Yeah.
And I just saw the entire thing, which is the same scene that's in episode 7 now of the first season. I wanted it to be the opening. But anyway, so that's the inspiration. I like literally saw every single
Frame of it.
of it.
Wow.
And I put it together and I just I was like, this is it. And I was trying to pitch Dave on it, and Dave was like, "Oh God, what if this sucks?" I inspired this guy to fucking do it.
It's a
And
personal
So I gotta
story.
tell him it sucks. It's always a scary thing. And I get that totally,
Yeah.
but I knew it didn't suck. I knew it was badass.
Yeah.
And it was on the bus on tour in Austin. I grabbed his speaker. he had those little speakers right there, and I put it down. I was like, "You're listening to this," and I put it in, put it down, and I mapped the whole thing out for him. He was smoking a cigarette. And he goes, "Shit, Mo, that's genius." He goes, "Don't do it in a special. You need to do a TV show." I was like, "Fuck, a TV show." So now it became this whole other obsession.
Yeah.
So I started writing down all these like really, transformative moments in my life, whether it be old as a kid, as a young kid or teenager or an adult, my experience in war, all these like significant scenes, or even like a moment with my grandmother, how she was teaching me how to eat hummus, things that I've never forgotten that I put in season 2. So it's just like I just put them on index cards and I would just scene by scene, I would work it out. So I'd had like 100, I think, scenes accumulated that I just could mine through. I told Rami about it. I was like, "Yo, man, this is like in 2014, like early 15 actually." I was like, "Yeah, I think I have this idea, this and that, but I want to do my stand-up special first." He goes, "No, let's do your TV show." He was really gung-ho about he was like, "Let's all just make this TV show. This is great." I was like, "Yeah, but I think I should do my special first."
Yeah.
So which I did for Netflix at that point. But then I could that's explains a lot of the story, and then I can go into the series.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Well, fuck, if you're not gonna do that, I'm gonna make my own show."
Yeah.
So he goes off and makes his own show.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Come do my show." And I was like, "I don't know." I was like really just not sure because
you want to do your own show?
It's not about the own thing. It's like I'm just very protective of ideas. And once you put ideas out, they're kind of over with.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if it was right or not. I wasn't sure.
Because you're playing Mo,
Exactly, yeah.
who owns a restaurant on Rami.
Exactly.
And you're like, well, now am I stuck with that character? Right.
Right. People would tell me that, yeah. People would, that was like an argument initially. And I was like, I really don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nor should you,
smart.
but I could see that being something you were hung up on.
Yeah, but exactly. That was something I was totally hung up on. I was thinking about it, but it wasn't about I was just curious. And then later on, he always jokes. He's like, "Remember, I begged you to do the show." I was like, "No, I didn't fucking beg him. It was just going through the bullshit, just trying to figure it out and making sure that it's the right thing for you and for me. It's all love. Last thing I want to do is do something bad for you either. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it was an awesome thing. Yeah,
but being on Rami is the first on-screen acting.
Yes.
Other than
no, I think I did Crashing first.
You did Crashing.
Yeah, I did an
first.
appearance on Crash, like a guest star on Crashing. Yeah,
that was Pete.
Pete, Pete's show. Yeah.
This is an impossible question to answer for you, but you're immediately so insanely natural. Were you shocked by your own ability?
Are you trying to be humble right now? Just some humility.
That's what I'm saying. You can't really answer this question, but I have to imagine there's a big relief at how fucking relaxed and in your body you
thank
are.
God, yeah, for sure.
That's an unknown.
It's not easy. Most people are
most
not.
People are bad at it.
You get really rigid in front of the camera. Most people do.
You're so loose and
I feel like I was completely born to do it. That's how it felt. It felt so good and comfortable.
Yeah.
Loved it. I felt like I finally was doing the thing that I was always meant to do.
Maybe even more than stand-up?
It's close. I love stand-up so much. I love stand-up because of just the vulnerability and allowing yourself just to speak your mind and people, at least my audience now, and the ability just to do 3 shows at Chicago Theater, man. It's it's its own thing.
Yeah,
you know? It's bro, we just did 10,000 people. I'm just backstage, literally thanking God before I'm introduced. And just remembering sleeping on fucking floors and every spot that you can imagine, every airport, every courtyard, anything just to try to make it. So I'm very grateful for that. But this whole experience, this is what I'm built for.
Yeah.
I'm built to tell stories. I'm built to do television, built to do movies. Doing Black Adam was huge too. I felt so natural in all that. And I just start reflecting about my life. I'm like, oh, I didn't create myself, right? That's the big thing you need to come. It's okay to talk about it. I didn't make me.
Right. You're the product of a lot of context.
I'm a product of a lot of context, but also there's certain things, bro, that'll blow your fucking mind. That was the guttural feeling I had when I saw stand-up for the first time and the journey that it was supposed to take me on, that wasn't the first time. I thought it was, but it's not. When I was 7 in Egypt, my dad took us to a play, and the lead of that play his name is Adil Imam. He's an iconic Middle Eastern actor, Egyptian, because he's like the goat of all goats of all comedic cinema, okay, and live performance. Like, I love this man. I watched him. I'm 7. I don't really even know totally what they're saying, but it's a captivating experience.
Yeah.
Baffling. On that trip, there is a photo that literally tells the future. If you look at that photo, I know it sounds crazy to say this, but I'll show it to you. It literally tells the entire future of what I'm supposed to do. It's absolutely baffling when you think about it. And then my mom, as much as she was like so worried about my future because she's never heard about, stand-up, is it really viable art, the profession or a career path or whatnot. It's a long one. It's an arduous one, of course. She has every right to be like, this fucking sucks.
Yeah. I know engineering results in a roof over your head.
Exactly. So, but she didn't really understand. And then she told me recently, she goes, when you were 18 months, when you barely could start walking, you're running around, you would turn off the TV and you would start entertaining us on front of the television. It's already there. I don't know why it's there, but it's there.
Yeah.
But then this picture, bro, it'll freak you out. I got to pull it up.
Yeah,
we need to see it. Okay, we have the picture up.
Look at this, okay? This is in Egypt. This is the last family vacation in 1988.
And you're in the red short slacks.
I'm in the red short, right?
Yep.
1988. The guy that has his hands on my shoulders, his name is Yusuf Idris. He's literally one of the most legendary screenplay and authors of any generation in the Middle East. Okay, I'm wearing a shirt that's basically a U.S. military recruitment shirt that nobody fucking knows I'm wearing. Like, clearly we've run out of stuff because we extended our stay.
It says join the forces, kill.
Okay?
Yeah.
It's absurd, right? All right? My mom
so
clearly
American.
run out of shit, right? So it's there. It's gone. Like, she just picked out a bunch of stuff. We ran out of things. She didn't even look at it. I'm wearing it. I have a camcorder. It's an over-the-shoulder camcorder. This is the very camcorder that I found 30 years later, okay, that's in the series. If you watch the ending, that's what I'm holding.
Oh, because you show footage of your father in Palestine, right?
I do. I show footage of my father. This is the only, so when my aunt told me about this camcorder, like, I was literally asking about it 2 days prior. I was on tour in the Middle East.
Yeah.
I look at my manager. I'm like, look at this picture. I was reflecting on this photo.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, what does this fucking shirt say? And I started zooming into it. I was like, oh my God. And I look at the camcorder. I was like, I have so many memories with this camcorder. It's insane.
Yeah.
I was like, Mustafa, isn't it crazy? Like, the guy who has his hands on my shoulders is one of the greatest, like, writers and authors and screenplay writers of our generation, filmmakers, storytellers. I have a camcorder in my hand. The story in the two main characters after me in my show is my mom and my brother. And the U.S. military invades Kuwait 2 years after this.
That is wild.
Oh, yeah, that's really fucking wild.
It's so insane. And it's the camcorder itself, all right, goes missing. I think it's gone. So I am bringing this up in Kuwait. I'm being really reflective. It's very painful. And also, I'm going there. They're building a tent for me to do a show. It's like, oh my God, like, what's happened? I'm just kind of really in this deep sense of reflection. My aunt is, going in and out of memory. She's having Alzheimer's. It's like starting to really get worse. But she remembers me. I'm sitting next to her. She's holding my hand. Don't go, don't go, don't go. I have to perform like an hour. Like, I'm just looking at the clock. I was like, Aunt, I'm so sorry. I have to go up in like an hour. I have to go. She's like begging me not to go. It was so gut-wrenching. I'm sitting there in my hotel room just like crying.
Yeah.
I'm showing Mustafa. I'm like, bro, I wonder what happened to this camcorder. I always remember this. I'm just reflecting and how everything is happening now. I hear people like cheering from outside the room. Like, it's a 2,000 seat or whatever they built for me. And I'm just like, this is just surreal.
Trying to integrate all
trying
this.
Trying to just like make sense of it all. Like, how did this all happen?
Is it real?
It's nuts. Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. I remember FaceTiming Dave. Everybody left my room. I was like, everybody, can you please leave? And I just didn't know how to reconcile it. I was having, not like anxiety about going on, but I just didn't know how to like channel my feelings anymore. And so I actually FaceTime Dave. He was like, oh shit, man, you're gonna have one of the best fucking sets you ever had. I already see it. And I just wiped my tears like this. I was like, you right. Went up and literally one of the best. I did 90 minutes just destroying the place, freestyling, integrating Arabic to English. It was like a masterclass. It was like fucking 2 days later, when I'm on Jordan, I'm visiting my other aunt. you know, and we're hugging, kissing. She's loving on me. She's like another mom to me. She goes, we just ate a really dense meal, and I'm just like trying not to like pass out.
Not off.
And I hear her say like, "I have a camcorder," you know. That's what it sounded like to me. I was like, "What?" Oh God, it's so sleepy, you know. I was like, "Did she say a camcorder?" No, and I didn't register it. Then I see her walk back in. She has back problems. She's in her late 70s. She's walking in like this with this camcorder. I was like, "What the?" I just freaked out.
Yeah.
And then my cousin walks in with a bag full of VHS tapes. I was like, what is going on, dude?
Yeah.
And that night, I'm in the hotel room. I'm staring at the video camera. I have my opening act, Adi Khalifa, and my manager Mustafa in the room. I can't stop thinking about it. And Adi goes, you want to see if it works, don't you? I was like, yeah. I open it up, plug it in, zoop, comes right on. I was like, give me a VHS tape. Give me. I could watch in the little viewfinder.
Yeah.
First tape, Michael Jackson. I was like, oh, take it out. You know? The next tape, Michael Jackson. I was like, guys, swear to God. Like, next tape, it's a house party. We don't know where. We don't know what it is. I'm watching for about 5 minutes. I was like, oh, where's my dad? I really want to see my dad. I was like, oh, he's probably filming. Damn it. Right as I say that, he walks into the frame. He's taking pictures of everybody. He's like dancing. I'm losing it. I'm like laughing, crying, laughing, crying. Meanwhile, my friend Adi, my opening act, he was filming me. I didn't know he was filming, but I was like for 17 minutes like watching.
Yeah.
He filmed the entire thing. And I caught footage of me as a little kid in our house in Kuwait. And it was just insane to get footage from my dad that I didn't know existed anymore, like nobody had. And I found it almost 30 years later.
Did it almost help you go, oh yeah, that was real?
Yeah, it did. It also like, yeah, it is. That's a great way to put it.
It's so far away in so many ways, geographically and time-wise. To see it, I would imagine you go like, oh right, I haven't imagined this whole thing. This is this is really me.
No, this is absolutely real. And of course, seeing my mom and young, and she's serving fruits. And there was a tape where we're at our house, and my dad is very hospitable. He just loves artists as well. He'd have people there. It was guys reciting poetry, freestyling, and you know, they would get your name. He would go Dax, 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 the Dax. You know, they would play off of it, and they would go on a rant about you. It was like so special, and I'm sitting there wide awake, and all the little kids are like sleeping except me. I'm just like, you can tell I'm loving this.
You want in on it?
I want in on it. It was super cool, and just having footage of my dad grabbing me like that, it was just like killed me, man. I was like so happy while I'm recreating this scene in the series.
Yeah.
I forget that Adi was because I cast him as my cousin in the show, and as we're about to do the scene, he goes, "Remember, I was with you when that happened." I was like, he's like, "Remember, I filmed it." I was like, "Oh my God, Adi, that's right." I sent it to my editor. I was like, "Hey, you know, here's the doc footage of me discovering it. Here's the actual footage that's on there. If you could just hold it for me and then like do a rough cut at the end." You know, at the credits roll, so people know that there's a real story.
Yeah.
And put it together. And when I saw it in the cut, I lost my fucking mind. Me and my wife were just like weeping. Like, what did I just do? It was like one of those things that only the divine can like facilitate something like that.
Orchestrate
all
that.
It's impossible.
I think it's hard when people die. You kind of remember their death. Like that's like the first thing that is sort of top of mind. Right. So to click back into when their life, like when they were happy and joyous and living, like, you know, with vitality, that's a gift.
Yeah, I feel that.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Anyway.
The show, now what's kind of probably depressing, the show is twice 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. You won, and I'm very jealous. There's only one award I've ever coveted, and I campaign for all the time, and I don't even know what it gets awarded for. But the Peabody, that to me feels like, oh, you transcended Hollywood somehow. Or
it was beautiful.
It's kind of a rad group to join, right?
No,
of the people.
No, for sure. No,
you're
it
like
was
Malcolm Gladwell. And,
I felt that way about the AFI too. They're just in a room and they only pick 10 shows and 10 films, and that's it.
That's so cool.
And you're just in that room. You're like, oh my God, Sigourney Weaver, fucking Steven Spielberg, James Cameron. James Cameron and I talking about watches. Like Better Call Saul is honored. So you have everyone there. Bob Odenkirk. I'm like, what's going on, bro? It's nuts. And then they bring in Al Pacino to tell a story, like out of nowhere. He was like, I hate award shows. You know, I really hate award shows because there's a bunch of losers, but you guys are all winners. That's nice. Yeah, that's nice. Hoo-ah. He really walked in like that. He was like, I got a paper, I got a speech, but I fucking hate papers. I just want to tell you a little story. This is one of the best stories ever. I want to tell you a little story. I don't, the first role I did with Godfather. You heard of it? I can't believe it. I'm fucking doing a Godfather. I just gotta tell you before this though. I did a lot of drugs and alcohol. It got me through a lot of hard times. It was really worked out well for me. I'm not advocating for it. I'm just saying it was really good for me. Let me tell you something. I get nominated for an Oscar. I couldn't believe it. I got nominated for an Oscar. So what I did was I took so many fucking Quaaludes and I drank so much. I was fucked up out of my mind. My manager at the time had to wash my hair. Couldn't even wash my fucking hair. Takes me to the Oscars. We're at the Oscars and I'm sitting in the chair just fucking losing my mind, high out of my mind, drunk. And then I realized, oh my God, what if I win? I gotta walk up to the stage. Oh no, now I'm panicked. I look over at my manager, I was like, is it almost over? He goes, it's only been 40 minutes. We've still got another 3 hours to go. He goes, oh no, 3 hours, I can't handle it. And he was so paranoid. I was so paranoid about it. What if I win? I gotta walk on the stage. I can't walk. It's impossible. I can't even stand up. How am I gonna go give a speech? It's not gonna work out. And it comes up, our category finally comes up. And I go, the winner is Jack Lemmon. And I fucking celebrated, I was so fucking happy. And the next day in the papers, they were like, look how beautiful Al Pacino is. What a great, supporter of art. Supporting Jack Lemmon. And I was just happy I didn't fucking win and have to walk up on a goddamn stage. Hysterical. And then he goes, okay, I'll read from the paper now. He was like right there. That was like a great experience.
Yeah, that's right.
That's so cool.
But it seems like the show's wrapped up.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I feel like, look, you get as many swings as you can and you don't know how many you're going to get. So I feel sincerely like this second season is like a masterpiece. I feel like the 8th episode is something so unique. I felt, Chris Story gave me one of the sweetest compliments and he was just like, you did something really dangerous, but never inflammatory. You managed to be able to do that, which is an enormous feat. And it was tender, it was thoughtful, it was sweet, it was heartfelt, it was funny, and kudos to you. Like when he said that to me, I was like, thank you. I felt like really seen. I felt really seen because it was almost basically an impossible position to be in. And it's like, do you talk about October 7th? Do you have it? Do you get into it? And then
did season 1 wrap on October?
No, season 1 didn't really have a particular date to it, but I decided to date the entire second season. So when it opens up in the first episode of season 2, you could see it's September 2022.
Right.
And then it takes us all the way to October of 23, but then the whole season ends on the 6th of October in Tel Aviv airport before their strip search,
Yeah.
So I did that very deliberately because every time I started, first of all, if we talk about it, then that means the family doesn't get to go back, obviously. They can't go back and visit if there's a war going on. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
Secondly, you're making everything seem like it all started at that point, which is also not fair. And people need to know what contextually it looked like, what the world looked like before that. Thirdly, every time I started getting into it, it became a full-blown drama, and the base of the show is comedy. And we explored it. I wanted to see what it looked like, but it didn't. Once it doesn't feel, I do a gut check right away. I was like, it does not feel good. It can't be it. That's not it. And I just avoided it. I was like, no, not necessarily avoided it, but I just felt like the best. We only have 2 seasons. This is the best foot forward here.
Yeah.
And if there's a scenario where a third comes around or the question comes up, do you want to do it? Do you want to get into it? I'd have to really think about it because I genuinely believe this is one of the, I'm being objective sincerely. The first season was really, really hard and I'm blessed that we were able to get all the accolades we did for the first season. But what I was able to pull off with the second season, I feel so blessed that I had such a great support system, wife, my having a son at the same time, being so focused on nothing else, and just so zoned in about making sure to tell the best possible story. And I feel like we did that. And I feel like I'm so relieved.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's an impossible position.
A lot of opportunity for failure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, whenever you take on something that has about 90 ways it
Yeah.
can go bad and then a couple it could go good.
We're also like people who have like their own projections on the subject matter, right? Whether
Which
it
is
be,
everyone.
Whether it be immigrant, which is everyone, exactly, which is immigration, Latinos. It's not just the Palestinian family. It represents many different buckets,
Yeah.
right? We go into a detention center in episode 2. I've never seen that in any show, much less a comedy. But also, you know, telling these detailed stories, showing also how privileged I am as a refugee in comparison to other people's experiences.
Another guy's talking about
Exactly.
cartel
Yes.
apprehending them for 4 days.
And he's like, "How'd you get here?" Like, "Well, I took a bus."
Yeah, and then I took a
And then he
short
tries to make
swim.
himself feel better, like, "Oh, you know, in the '90s we fled the Gulf War, you know." But then we took a flight. I think it was Delta, you know. So just showing how absurd even I am in my own scenario. And I just love that misdirection of it. Like, you think it's going to be a hypersexual comedic situation, and then it goes into a political conversation, which things do, right? If like, especially in that environment, you think that it's.
I would put the
all-
mask on.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I couldn't do it.
I know.
really have. If anybody else in the room, I have performance anxiety for sure regarding any sexual activity for
The
sure.
ambassador wants him to fuck his wife with a
luchador mask. Yeah,
a luchador mask.
Yeah, it's
on.
also Palestino to do it.
He doesn't want to do it.
I can't do it.
I was like, oh, that would have been easy.
I physically can't do it at all. And so I was genuinely me. I know you
choice.
told the line between the character and myself, but I remember having like a girlfriend and she had like this dog and he kept looking at me while I was like, dude, stop looking. I was like, I can't. You got to get this dog out of here, bro. It's making me feel terrible about myself.
Our old dog, she loved to watch. Like
I'm
more
so
than just
shy, bro. I'm telling you, I'm super shy, even if it's a pet, you know?
Yeah.
A loved one.
Yes. It's like, bro, what are you doing?
But our dog Lola didn't just want to like observe. She wanted to like walk around and get a little closer. Sometimes I'd be like, feel fur on my leg.
No, come on.
Yes. And then I was like, Lola's a fucking pervert. And then I was like, wait, is that what's going on? Or when Lola looks at me, I feel like a pervert.
my
I'm aware
God.
of how perverted I am with this third person.
I'm really sad we brought this up now. No, truly. It was fun. It was fun to play with that.
Okay, so now you're on tour.
Yeah.
And the name of your tour is
El Oso Palestino Tour. The Palestinian Bear Tour.
the Palestinian
Which is a
Bear
play
Tour.
on the character in the show. It's just side gigs, side jobs to make a living in Mexico. He's a luchador, but he's really just there to get his ass kicked. You know, he doesn't have any skill set whatsoever.
No.
So
He could kind of take a beating. I guess.
it was. I did a few of those takes, bro. That shit is real, man. It hurt like a motherfucker. My back went out a few times. I'm like, dude, what is going on? They're like, hold on to the rope, squeeze your abs, and then we're gonna hold you from your ankles, but you gotta hold yourself.
Plank.
And I'm like, ooh. But I'm not planking. It's an extraordinary plank. I can plank for several minutes. Shockingly, I can do it. We'll
I
do it
didn't
right now,
want to
buddy.
offend
Let's
you.
go.
Yeah, I knew you were a good planker.
But no, it was like, no, you can't tell on face
No,
value
we
if
already
I'm a
know
good
about the
planker.
Everyone
athleticism.
knows
Yeah,
you're a
it's
good
shocking.
planker.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Gracias por eso. No, for real, that shit like, and then he rips, it's a female. He's like kicking my ass. Yeah. And I'm like, bro, this is it. Where's the stunt guy? Like, get him in there.
Yeah.
I thought this was going to be fun. This was disaster.
No.
Get me out of the suit. It's hot. I'm sweating. I did Black Adam. I can do my own stunts. Let's go. No, I know I can't. I can't
No,
do
you
all of
can't.
them. No,
That's
no,
not for you.
can't. No,
That's
no,
not your
you can-
lane.
driving a car like a lunatic and getting thrown from the ropes are completely different things, buddy. Completely different things.
So how many dates are you doing? Where do people get
I
tickets?
think I've done like 45 already. I'm not sure. You can get tickets on my website, moamer.com.
moamer.com.
moamer.com. You can follow me on Instagram. I got to film another special.
Yeah.
So I'm just, I'm going hard and I really have paused. But I really want to, I want this to be great. I want this to be like spectacular. I want it to be the best special that I've ever done. And I feel like with just getting older, having a son and what's going on in the world and the way you filter things and when you see things it's just everything is different. I see things really differently. I'm experiencing it
As a father.
in a way, as a father, as a man, as just like
Yeah.
just coming off of season 2 itself and how really massive lift that was and just the relief of seeing people like the reception that I'm getting on the road now, it's one of the most beautiful things
Yeah.
How is your Instagram? Like, because Instagram is, social media is a cesspool.
Yeah, it really is. It's tough.
It's tough. Do you face a lot of like backlash and weird stuff there?
I try not to look.
Okay,
Number one,
good.
I really, really avoid it.
Yeah.
Very much so. I have like a team that like curates the things that I want to. I approve everything, and I do that because I really don't want to spend my days online and on social. It was so time consuming and vacuous, and everyone's just yelling at each other. No one's
Exactly.
really making sense. There's no actual progress being made.
No.
Correct.
It's just people declaring what side of every fight they're on.
Yeah, exactly. And then but the worst part of it to me is no one's listening to one another.
No.
So you're talking and I'm just thinking about how I'm going to respond.
You're not there to learn anything. You're there to broadcast your position.
Exactly.
And to fight. And,
Exactly. So I've avoided that. And sincerely, I haven't had any issue. Like with season 2, I think that the balance was it was really perfect. And the fact that it was based off of my actual experience in life. And then you can see, not all of it. Surely you fictionalize certain things, but a substantial amount of it is copy paste.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like what the divine has given me on a silver platter. You're like, you don't want to mess with that. That's perfect. You can't write anything better than that.
Right. You're holding a camcorder in front of.
Just go with it. Just go with that and build around it and making sure to expand it and make sure it flows into the overall story. And that's it. Just stay focused and have the right balance of comedy and drama and emotion tapped into it and take people on this ride and let it do the talking.
Well, not to be too corny and make you uncomfortable, I just say I appreciate it so much. Rami for me was the first big, like, I really, really enjoyed almost being forced to see what the experience is like.
Yeah.
And same with you. And so I'm grateful we live in this kind of, the negative would be like a niche economy of content.
Sure.
But the great part of it is I get to see I get to watch Atlanta and
it's a great era. I hope that it just like, the pressure doesn't stop these stories from being told,
Yeah.
That's the scary part is that, a lot of people at my shows be like, how'd you even do it?
Right.
sure.
How'd you do it? How'd they let you do it?
Yeah, right.
Wow. One guy said, how are you alive? I was like, bro, pray for me. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm alive. It's a good, sweet honesty. That's how shocked people are because that's how extreme the suppression of free speech has become. And if we don't like what you're saying, then we can just literally deport you to another country. Like, what the fuck is going on right now?
I know.
Yeah.
So this is what I don't really worry about it, but I just hope that it doesn't happen. I hope that people understand that the artist community and specifically here in LA and Hollywood, they understand like we need more of these stories. You can't suppress speech. If you don't like what somebody's saying, you just need more speech, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You
You
need
don't
to
need
counter.
less. You don't need less. That's the thing. Like everybody gets to share their stories. You get to do it. You don't have to love it. You don't have to hate it. You can appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, have fun touring and then
Thank you.
also act more because I love watching you act.
Thank you,
You
man.
really are just born to do it. You're
thank you, bro.
fucking effortlessly comfortable. Mo, I'm delighted to
you so
meet you.
much.
I'm so glad you
this
came
was
and did
so
this.
fun.
Yeah, so good to know both you. Really, truly,
This
this
was
is so
great.
fun.
Oh, good.
I really, what a great experience. I'm gonna do this in my garage.
You
Fuck
should.
this.
You really
I'm
You
just
got
gonna
a
interview
garage?
nobody, just me, just sitting there.
All you need is a garage.
Love
All right,
it.
brother.
Thank you so much.
He is an armchair expert, but he makes mistakes all the time. Thank God Monica's here. She's gonna let him have the facts.
Oh, this is fun.
This is
So
very-
you've hit me with an idea,
Yep.
which is after we chit chat for a while and we get into the facts, I'm going to cut your hair while you read the facts.
Yes, because you have boasted many a time about your haircutting capabilities.
Yeah.
And I've never experienced it, and I need a haircut so badly.
I know, but I told you this is not the situation. Like, I need you on a tall chair in the kitchen with a lot of light, and we got to discuss what you want. But what you're telling me is you just want the ends trimmed.
I mean, you can do some other stuff if you want,
That's
but
some big new
but be
layers.
careful. But you can play with it a little bit.
Okay. We'll see. We'll see what we can do.
Okay.
But I do have my tools.
I got my tools.
Yeah, you got your scissors and your brush.
Like normally I would use this comb, but I was thinking your hair, I don't know if I can get this comb through your hair, can I?
Have you ever
I brought one of the girls' brushes.
Have you ever cut hair on a
Podcast?
on an Indian woman's head?
Yeah, I only do Indian women's.
Oh, then you'll be fine. You'll be fine with that comb.
Do you think all Indian women have the same hair? I mean, they seem to, from my point of view, it seems pretty similar.
I don't think they're exactly the same, but yes, I think there's
Thick.
a thickness.
Yeah.
Although Matt once told me, Matt, our friend who's a hairstylist, told me that the actual strand itself of mine is not that thick. It's more like medium.
It's the density.
There's a lot of it.
So density.
Density.
Yeah. I've never seen a blonde Indian. Let's start there.
No, they don't.
No. It's like green eyes. Cat eyes, as your father would say.
Well, green eyes happens there sometimes, but no blonde hair.
No, right?
No. I've never heard of it.
There's got to
seen
be
it.
albino Indians,
Well,
though.
exactly. That would be the only way.
Albinism. We learned a cool word today on Armchair Anonymous.
Oh yeah.
Hedonistic?
No, Edenic.
Edenic.
Yeah, and it meant
To describe an environment as Eden-like the Garden of Eden.
Yeah, I liked
Edenic.
that. I liked that.
God, I'm
too.
glad you remembered it because I said out loud I'm going to commit that to my
Repertoire.
repertoire. People loved your David Chang story. I just want to add that.
Oh, good.
I looked at the comments and many people write that this is all of us.
It's all of us, right?
Yeah.
We just don't know how to operate in the world. Humans do not know how to operate.
We get so nervous,
We
as
get
if like people get punched for doing it wrong or
Get
something.
so flustered. I did send it to Callie, of course. I sent her the text. She said, "What is going on?" And I responded, and she said, "But where is the bread from?"
Oh,
We still don't know. A really important.
Rob can
Yeah, I'll ask.
Can you-
he'll handle that right now.
Can you find
the bread
out?
that his children didn't eat that he
Yeah,
brought home
that-
for his children?
I was going to say, "Oh, what you got there?" About.
Oh, there's a bit of a standoff in our household. So, Kristen, as you know, you've tried it. She's in her sourdough phase.
I've never tried hers.
You haven't?
Only Amy's.
What about at Molly's birthday party? She brought over like 2 fresh loaves. You didn't get into it.
No.
I had some. I cheated. And I was like, I already told you this. I'm like, oh, sourdough's got the least amount of gluten. I can eat it. And I had it. There's nothing better than sourdough out of an oven. Forget it.
Yum.
But anyways, my kids are like, where's the white bread?
They miss the white bread.
And
Yeah.
Kristen's like, I'm making the bread. You have homemade bread.
Right.
Rightly so.
Right.
And Delta's like, I want little square white pieces of bread.
Yes.
And I get it.
You definitely get it of
I
all
get
people.
it. Because I'm a
right?
trash monster. I like crappy stuff.
No, when you have your 5 dishes that you make,
Uh-huh.
that you used to make, those were your special dishes.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them is a tuna
Chicken salad
Excuse me, a chicken
Oh,
salad
yeah.
sandwich. It's been a minute. It's
It
been a
has,
minute.
it
I
has.
haven't had it in a while. Chicken
That
salad.
one's hard because I
sandwich.
don't eat bread anymore. And I got to just eat this and watch you guys.
Yeah, well, you can
Enjoy.
have it on this sourdough, I guess. How often are you cheating with the sourdough?
I'm not. When she got into the phase, because you can't imagine waking up and the whole house smells like a loaf of sourdough. It's actually now maddening that I don't. I had a week of it. I'm like, yeah, this is where it's not working. My skin started flaking. My wrist started hurting.
Yeah.
I also gained immediately. I just mysteriously gained 8 pounds.
Sure. Well, yeah.
Go ahead. What did we talk about? That I gain and lose weight really quick?
No, that I think you're just underweight. Like your body wants to weigh more. So of course it's like getting something and it's gonna hoard it.
I don't know if you inceptioned me, but I've been eating more.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Is it that, or is it that you got back from New York and you had all this yummy food and now you want yummy food?
Well,
again?
then I got back down to 194.
Right.
And then I think vanity, I'm like, I don't like my face at 194.
No. Maybe you are having, you know how they call them sympathy pains when a woman is pregnant and
Yeah.
then the man also experiences pains.
I gained a crazy amount of weight when Kristen was pregnant the first time.
And you said that was like sympathy weight or something.
I just don't know what it was, but I find that every man I know has done that when their
But
wife
is
gets
that just
pregnant.
because the woman is eating more?
I think
so then,
she's driving it a little more because she's got these weird urges and there's more shit around, and maybe that's part of it. And maybe you are I want people to think about this. The next time you're at a booth at a restaurant talking with somebody,
start paying attention how you inadvertently mirror each other's body language. If someone puts their hand on their, rests their face on their fist, you'll do it. Just be aware of it.
I mean, we don't.
In here,
Yeah.
I wonder if we were at a booth at a restaurant, we would.
I don't think so.
We had an expert on saying
Yeah, we
something about
did.
dad bod, that like the husband or the father stores fat differently in his body when his wife's pregnant, knowing that he's not going to sleep. And
Oh, interesting. But my big thing was we were at one of the checkups and I just hadn't been on a scale in like 4 or 5 months.
You're
And I
right.
got on, I was like, oh my God, I've gained 22 pounds and I
Yeah.
didn't even notice.
Yeah. I think it's maybe more that like she's eating more.
Oh, yeah.
There's more on her plate, literally.
Yeah.
So then you're just matching that.
Yeah, something happens.
But anyway,
it's pretty consistent.
You might be having sympathy
Weight
gain from us all being on our periods.
could be. That's a good story. Whiskers.
Oh, okay. Oh no! Don't. This
Yes,
is,
of course this is a good
embarrassing
story.
for her.
whiskey?
No,
I don't need to say who.
Oh, okay. I mean,
Why is it embarrassing to have your
I
period?
would be embarrassed.
You would?
Yeah, I'd be embarrassed by that story.
Oh, okay. I don't think she would, but I won't
okay.
risk it.
Well, there's a woman, but there's only.
There's a lot of women in my house.
Okay.
Nicole's there nonstop. My sister's there nonstop. I got Kristen's there nonstop. This is a whole bevy of people. You're in and out of there.
Yeah, it's not me. I do
You've
want to
popped
make
some
this clear.
tampons in those trash cans for sure.
Maybe years ago. I don't really use tampons anymore.
Oh, you're over it.
I use period underwear.
Okay, that's the rage.
I use period underwear. And there's a lot of rages. People use the cup.
Yeah, we talked about this. You
I'm
don't. You're
afraid of
anti.
that. I'm just afraid of it. I'm not
And
anti.
we have a friend, we won't out her, but we have a friend in the pod that uses the Diva cup.
Yeah, and she also told us a story of someone she was at a wedding and a girl's popped it, pop and locked.
She was dancing.
She was dancing.
And the cup spilled?
It fell out and
On the
blood flew
Hold
everywhere.
on. How does the cup pass your underpants?
She wasn't wearing any.
What a kinky broad. She's on her period, not wearing undies, and on the dance floor popping and locking.
Well,
Who is this woman? Do I know her?
No. If you're able, I mean, it's like suctioned up there. You should be able to keep
You should be
it.
able to go underwearless
lock.
to a wedding in a dress.
I mean, technically, I'm sure when I
you
wore
don't think that if I did something like that, you'd be like, that's so arrogant. You know you would.
Yeah, I would say that.
Yeah.
But listen, I'm sure at some point in life when I was wearing tampons, wore a tampon without an underwear. Oh, definitely. Like in a bathing suit.
But your bathing suit's the underwear. You're
Well,
not wearing underwear ever.
No,
and
but
then you're on your period and you decide that's when you're going to not wear your
listen,
underwear.
now let me tell you why. If you're wearing a certain dress, like let's say you're going to a wedding or something, and you're
Mhm.
wearing a certain dress and you don't want underwear lines, you'd go
Even in the
without.
day of the thong and everything, that's still
Even
an issue.
still, depending. I mean, there are some good underwears that you can use, but there are certain dresses that, like, you can just see it. So there are times
I
that
gotta go to more weddings.
there are times that I haven't worn underwear.
You raw dog it.
Yeah, and then
No, commando.
I commando,
Uh-huh.
and if I'm on my period,
Fuck it.
that's a tampon. And I'm not worried.
Can
a
you
tampon,
think of a specific time ever? Like, this sounds so theoretical. Can you tell me a time you were on your period, put a tampon in, and went out of the house with a dress on and no underwear?
I've been
Is that
on
a
my
real
period for, since
100
I
years?
was, since I was 11 or 12
You got it at 11?
or 12. I forget.
You
But
live next to a nuclear reactor?
no, I was an early bloomer.
Okay.
And anyway, I have been on it for a really long time. And then I know the feeling of what it is to have a tampon in and not have underwear.
In your house. I'm asking,
Not in
can you
my
think
house.
of it? Are you telling me right now you have a memory of going out in a dress,
Yes.
no undies on your period?
Yes, I have a sense memory of it. I
You-
don't have an actual memory of it, but I have a sense memory. Dax!
We have a commitment to each other here.
Exactly.
To be honest. You
And
can't
to
feel
believe
like
each other.
you can't feel like you did. You got to say I did or I didn't.
Well,
Like,
that's not fair.
okay. I apologize.
Listen, I remember I wore a dress sort of recently that I didn't wear underwear.
Okay.
I do know that. And I
Right.
kind of feel like I was on my period then.
Oh, okay.
And I think I wore a tampon specifically because I don't really wear tampons anymore. And I remember I had to wear it
Yeah.
because
Wear
of
it.
this.
It's weird to say wear it.
I know.
Wear
put
a
one in.
tampon.
I had to put one in.
Yeah. Plug.
I would never be worried about popping and locking and the tampon falling out.
No, of course. Yeah.
So I can see why the Diva cup you wouldn't.
I have no
you'd-
experience with it, but it seems crazy there's a cup in there that's relying on a suction seal and that seal couldn't break. Anyone who's ever used any suction cups,
Yeah,
They're
but
wily.
it's like I think it's like big. So the fact that the whole thing is up there, it does
it's
feel
like
like
a
it would be
teacup,
like kind of, I think, but rubbery. I think.
but as big as
silicone.
like a coffee cup.
No, not a.
No, it's like a golf ball, maybe.
No, bigger than that.
Much bigger than a golf ball.
Natalie
ball?
uses them.
She does.
Yeah.
Has your dog ever eaten it?
No.
Okay, well, let me get to the story.
Okay, fine. Tell the story.
There's a lot of updates on whiskey.
Okay.
A new update on whiskey is he's bad to the bone. That doesn't
Do you
help
see
me because
it?
it needs to be next to a Bic lighter or something.
Here it is next to
A micro penis?
a tampon.
Oh, okay. So it's the same length as a Tampax. Okay, so whiskey, you need to know some updates about whiskey.
Okay.
One thing is he's bad to the bone.
Okay.
He's killed over 100 men.
What are you talking about?
Whiskey's eaten 100 men. He's bad to the bone.
Okay. You just really want to say bad to the bone. Like,
Well, that's
a
I
lot.
wanted to tell you about whiskey.
I know.
Well, you know, first of all, he was Trimp and he was president of the hallway.
Right.
And I wanted to tell you about that. And you seem to enjoy that.
No, I want to hear about whiskey, and I know he's bad to the bone.
He's eaten 100 men and 150 women, but he doesn't talk about that. It's
Ew,
bad to the
he's sounding
bone.
kind of like
A tiger.
Burrito.
Okay, so he's bad to the bone.
Okay.
And someone in my household put a tampon in the trash can, which is advisable for your plumbing.
Correct.
So I'm on a high five this unnamed person who put a tampon.
Mm-hmm.
Because whiskey's bad to the bone and he loves blood,
Ew.
he went and ate the tampon. Okay.
Yeah.
Then, and she won't mind this. I just want you to know she won't mind this. And this is a big honorable mention because I've said this before. My sister Carly is fucking down. When the gnarly stuff needs to get done, my sister will do it.
She will.
She's fearless. So they were taking whiskey bad to the bone on a walk, and he pooped out half a tampon.
Yep.
And then a little while longer, he tried to poop out the rest of the tampon, and now the cord, the string, the rope.
Oh.
And now he's got a rope hanging out of his butt. And he's a bastard, right? So you can't get close to him because
Yeah,
he's
he'll bite you.
bad.
He'll bite you.
He'll eat you like the 100 men he's eaten. And so Carly's trying to get this fucking thing out of his butt, and he's trying to bite her. And this whole thing, it's a battle. Then I guess she had to take him to her house and put him in the sink and get him warm water on him because he calms down when he gets a bath.
Oh my God.
And then she had to pull this thing out of him. These dogs, man.
You are so lucky that your sister did that
Yeah.
because he would have died of TSS.
That's what Kristen goes, is he going to get toxic shock syndrome? I'm like, no, your butt is so different than your vagina.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe hit. We don't know about
I need to get
his.
a proctologist on. I don't think you can get toxic shock syndrome in your butthole from a Tampax.
Sure you can.
in a
And it's
day.
a tampon.
The Tampax is the brand I prefer. Kind of like I like Huggies. Tampax, Radiant. They always, man, these ad campaigns, and I tip my hat to them because what a product to have to sell on TV. And, they have these commercials and someone's like sailing.
Uh-huh.
They like to put you like in a nautical situation.
Yeah, because that's when you need a tampon when you're in a bathing suit. That's why.
Yeah, this was more, I think, like, oh, it's going to be a long sailboat ride. I don't know. It's always like someone's in a field and there's a lot of flowers. Like they're trying to destigmatize, I guess, keep whiskey away.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, they got to name it whatever name I just said, Radiant or something.
I think they have their work cut out for them, and I applaud them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
God bless them. Well, you got to sell Depends.
Yeah.
Hard product to sell.
In some ways, it's a hard product. In some ways, it sells itself. Because, like,
Well,
if
yeah,
you need
just
it, you get
need
it.
them.
Yeah.
No one's on the fence about getting Depends.
Or
you either need
hold
fucking
on.
Depends or you don't.
Well, maybe that's why tampons have had to step up their game because there are competing
Period
products.
underwear. I don't like the branding of this.
Why?
Do you like it? Period underwear?
I mean, that's what I call it. It has
grab my period underwear. Don't you think there's I think the Tampax people should take a stab at period underwear because I think they could top it.
Well, it's not all
like freedom panties
Can
or
you
something.
let me finish, please?
Yeah, sorry. I'm so excited to talk about female products.
I know.
Okay.
It's there are brands. Knix is a brand, so you don't have to say period underwear. You can say like
Get my Nixies.
Sure, Nixies, regular Knix.
Yeah, it already starts with an X, so I love it. Is it N-I-X?
And then there's
or
one.
Or is it N-I-C-K-S?
K-N-I-X.
Oh, great. K-N-I. So like knitting.
And then there's Thinks. That's a huge brand.
Another X.
Yeah.
X is a trusted letter in the vaginal space.
It is. Maybe they are not stealing. Maybe they are
inspired by.
Yeah.
Tampax.
They're building upon the Tampax.
the trust that these people have tirelessly built with this product that is,
look, nothing against the tampon industry, but this is better for you.
If I was in the ad game, I would want to get put on Tampax because you want to bite off a lot. You want a challenge. It's like if you're an actor, you want to play someone dying of something or whatever. You want a challenge. And I would I think to cut my teeth and make a name for myself, I'd love to just blow out a Tampax campaign.
Okay. How are you going to get these people back on tampons? The people that have left to the cup.
You want me to just right off the cuff?
Yeah. You're in a meeting right now. Here we are. Guys, our sales are plummeting.
And why?
Because there's all these competing trends now that, look, I hate to say it, and this doesn't leave this room, they're better for the women's bodies.
Wait, nothing is better. What if you're sailing?
The cup is
You're supposed to carry, what you're trying to tell me is that a woman in her cycle is supposed to have a purse full of underwear?
No, they'd use
That's not a move for an elegant lady out on the town.
Ew. Yeah, see, this is
the fact that you got to carry extra undies with you?
What are you talking about?
Well, once you've soiled your nicks, just like a tampon, you got to change it.
Well, no.
So you got to change these undies.
You wash it. you technically rinse it out.
Yeah. Oh. So I got a lot to work with here. But hold on.
Also, the cup is different.
Forget the cup. We're talking.
Well, that's a huge thing.
This is Tampax versus underpants.
Okay, fine.
Are you trying to tell me that the day you get your period, you put on a pair of Knix and you leave them on for the duration? Okay, great.
But I leave mine on all day.
Even a very heavy day? I want to choose my words carefully.
Yeah, I do my flow, even at its heaviest, one can sustain it.
What if you go on a sailboat?
Then I'm wearing a tampon.
Bingo. So we build on that. For the adventurer, for the person engaged, sure. If you're a couch potato, wear Knix. If you want to get out and see the world, if you don't want your period to keep you sidelined on the bench, you still want to go sailing and go to amusement parks
and get TSS.
There's only one brand for you because you can carry extras in your purse discreetly like an elegant lady.
Ew.
No one wants to have, you know what I would do is I would have, thank you, Monica. Here we go. I got my pitch, okay? We start the commercial with a woman in line at an amusement park. Everyone's having a great time. Her child asks her for a sucker. She goes in her purse to get it. The purse comes dislodged, and on the ground tumbles 5 pairs of underpants. She's mortified. And then a girl next to her looks at her purse, and she's got Tampax in there. And then she winks. Pretty good spot. No one wants underwear to tumble out of their bag.
I would
at the amusement park.
100%. No one wants tampons to fly everywhere.
Well, they want it because they're not humongous, like underpants.
Oh
or if they think it's a sucker.
Wait, no men, all the men off of this campaign immediately. This is so embarrassing and bad. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Every woman has been in a situation where a tampon's fallen out, and it's like the most
mortifying.
It is so upsetting
What
when
would
your
be
tampon falls out of your backpack.
I want you to be, please be honest with me.
I am.
You get to choose.
Yes.
You're on a date with this unnamed guy that was at Saturday Night Live.
Mm-hmm.
And your purse falls over,
Mm-hmm.
and either a gigantic pair of underwear fall out because they're big, right? To cover everything.
Hold on.
Am I imagining them correctly?
You're not. Okay. I need to take a breath. Okay.
You call time.
As we've established, I am currently on my period.
Yeah.
So
Fuck, where are you keeping all these other underwear?
exactly. Where do you see? There's no, I'm not carrying any underwear. There's no underwear in my bag. You don't.
I think you're reckless. I think you need a backup pair on you. I'm not going to say who. I know someone who wears them, and they go through a couple a day.
Yeah, sure. Some people do.
Yeah.
Same as your tampon.
And so that person has to carry an extra pair of these grundles around. Okay.
Okay.
So we just concede the fact that someone might need to be carrying
Sure.
grundles with them. Now, my question is, your purse falls over at dinner on a date with a boy you like,
Uh-huh.
and either a very large pair of underwear fall
Stop
out.
that. They're not as big as you think. You think they're diapers. They're not.
Dipes. That's another great angle. I'll start calling them dipes.
No, stop.
Okay.
Listen,
I never know when the fun's going to end.
listen, I put up with a lot here. Okay.
Okay.
If this man would rather me get TSS / have to put cloth up my pussy.
Save cotton. Please don't use that word in the campaign. That's an off-putting one to the consumer.
Pussy or
yes,
cloth?
no. That word doesn't work in advertising as much as I wish it did.
Thank you for explaining that to me. If this man, this hot man who I think is kind and nice,
Yeah.
and from another country, this man is.
Oh, you're
So-
giving away a lot of clues now.
I think this man from another country really understands that
you better find out. 'Cause
Americans are crazy.
That other country's a lot more buttoned up than this country.
No, but not in this type of area.
Oh, yes.
No.
Yes.
Dax, you don't know what it's like to be a woman.
I know I don't, but I do know the difference between, I won't say the name of the country, and our country, and we are much more foul.
Not in the female hygienic space.
Guys there are like, ooh, about everything.
No, but in general, they wear more pads there. Okay.
Oh, but so the answer, your answer is
Yeah, I'm
lock in the answer. You'd rather have a big pair of underwear fall out than a tampon.
No, I want to get a little more nuance. I wouldn't, and stop saying big pair of underwear.
They're
okay?
bigger than the ones you normally wear, right?
They're not.
Like there's a pair you'd be happy to fall out, right? We agree on that.
Listen, I'm currently wearing
Uh-huh.
a thong period underwear.
Oh.
This is what I'm saying. You don't understand
I
what's
haven't seen
going
that
on.
product. I've seen different versions.
Yes. And it has lace.
Oh, wow.
It looks like underwear.
Okay.
Hot underwear.
Okay, great.
Now, what I wouldn't want to happen, I will say this. What I would not want to happen is my bag falls out.
Mm-hmm.
Dirty period underwear
Ooh.
falls out. That
Now, and be honest, you're not going to pitch them in the fucking trash can when you switch
no.
grundles in the toilet. So yeah, you could be in a situation where you're carrying.
I'm personally not
Used.
though. So I can't.
But for the person who does have to change midday, they have to carry that around. So, okay, they also have to carry a Ziploc bag. Great product. I wish I was on that campaign. I swear by Ziplocs. Now not only do they have this,
Go on.
a pair of underwear, I'll leave it at that.
Thank you. For
That are
adjusting.
soiled
Yeah.
in a Ziploc bag.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now this is crazy because the guy who's not as hip
careful what
and
you're saying.
and a feminist like me, who I already know about all these products.
You do
But for the
not.
untrained guy,
Okay.
he sees a pair of undies in a Ziploc bag, Monica. I'll tell you 1,000% what he thinks happened. She shit herself.
Okay.
That's a Ziploc bag full of shitty underwear.
Okay. And is it hot?
Well, now you're that's an interesting counter.
See? Now listen, this is what would I rather a little tampon fall out?
Delicate.
It's not delicate.
Yeah,
okay?
some inspiration. What was it called?
Radiant.
Radiant. A radiant tampon falls
It
out.
falls out. Yes, I would prefer that to dirty period underwear
In a
falling
Ziploc.
out at a restaurant.
In a
okay?
Ziploc bag.
Better in a Ziploc bag at least than on its own.
But it says they poop themselves.
If that happened, the underwear Ziploc bag / regular stinky underwear.
When it happens.
I would say, that's embarrassing. That oh no, this is like David Chang all over again. No, I would address it. I'd be like,
And there's flies too. Just
no.
there's a fucking swarm. In fact, before he even sees it, he hears, whoa, is there a swarm? I heard a swarm of flies.
No,
And then whiskey runs across the restaurant.
Oh my God. I would say I don't wear tampons anymore because they're not good for you.
Oh, and I'd say, I'm so glad you're taking care of yourself.
Exactly. And that's the end of that.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Well, okay, say that again.
So that's so embarrassing. I'm so embarrassed. I just don't wear tampons anymore because they're not great for you, for women's bodies.
And because you don't wear tampons anymore, you pooped your pants?
Oh, no. Is that what you think?
Yeah, because it's in Ziploc.
Oh, no. Sorry. Sorry. It's just period underwear.
Oh, I'm starving. Let's see the dessert menu.
I hate men. All men off the campaign now.
Let's see what kind of appetizers they got.
You're not
can we have a can of Raid?
Like you aren't having sex with people on their period.
Oh, absolutely.
Please.
I love it.
Please.
Yeah. I'm not going to leave that there. Yeah. Yes, of course. I don't give a shit. I also don't care if you have shitty underwear in your purse. But I do think I'm a rare customer.
I think you're probably a rare customer.
Uh-huh.
But
I would be like, oh, so glad you're shit your pants. Now I got to tell you about 25 stories.
Yeah. Look, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Okay. Well, Mother's Day is right around the corner. So think about getting mom either of these options. Whatever you found would be a compelling argument.
We've said 3 now. Diva cup.
Yeah.
Underwear.
Yeah. Choice is yours. If you're a pop and locker, you wear dresses. These are all things you got to consider.
Yeah.
They're great. I'm just having fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a good time. And you were too.
Okay. So anyway, she pulled the tampon right out of there.
She's such a gangster, Carly.
And do you think there was now poop
Let
in
me be
there
honest.
too?
If I ever got in a situation where I had accidentally killed somebody, and it was one of these scenarios where it's like, there's no way my story's not going to hold up. Like literally the choices are, it was an accident, A.
Yeah.
And my choices are call the police and go to prison forever because it looks insane.
Yeah.
Or get rid of the body.
Yep.
And I can't do it myself. I do need one person.
Okay.
And Aaron's in Detroit.
Oh, okay.
I'm calling Carly.
That's
the right call,
move.
right?
I mean, I'm upset, obviously.
But that's not your lane.
Well, cleaning up bodies?
Cutting up a body.
Oh, it's cutting up? I thought we were burying it or
it's-
putting it in the ocean or something.
It's Robert Durst.
Okay. Yeah, I'd rather not.
Right. There's other calls you'd rather.
I would keep it a secret.
Yes, I would trust you to tell you this happened.
Okay.
But I'm talking about the dirty business.
Yeah. I'm just also not very strong, even though I've been doing my farmer's carries.
Intermittently.
I did them last night.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, good. While you're watching ER?
No, when I was going to and from. I
Getting
just do
a
it
glass
when
of wine?
I see them. Kind of.
Do you ever do them on your way to get another glass of wine?
They are like right there. I mean, I can't say I haven't done them after a night out.
Sure. Well, of course, because you're feeling stronger than you are.
Exactly.
You're feeling like overly confident.
Yeah. I think I actually am ready. So I've been doing 2 40s.
Yeah.
I think I might be ready to move up.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm not
I'm
not going very far. How far are you supposed to go?
Longer than to your kitchen, probably.
Well, I go back and forth until it feels like it's really falling out of my hand.
Okay.
You think that's bad?
I think you can look up. I want to say they're supposed to last either 30 seconds or a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't do them, so I don't know.
Okay, I'll look it up.
Okay, you want to do facts and get a haircut?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Okay, great.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
Well, I'm just going to start by saying this will be my first haircut I've ever given sitting down.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you like to stand.
Well, no one's ever cut your hair sitting down, right? This is crazy.
Huh.
Yeah, but that's okay.
Okay.
All right. So
It's
first
okay
I'm going to start by grooming you.
Okay.
Okay. Don't forget to do the facts, though.
Oh, I
because
forgot.
that's also your job for the
I
listener.
already forgot.
Like if you're watching, this will be fun, even if you're not giving facts. But for the listener, you're going to have to give your facts.
Okay. I just really like it when people brush my hair.
Yeah, I bet you probably never want the haircut to
Yeah.
start.
Can we just...
I can see why you want to trim.
See?
Yeah, you have some strays.
It's gotten really out of control.
And a lot of them are kind of mid-level, so that's a little tricky.
Those are the layers.
Yeah. Well, okay, we're going to start. We're going to start at the bottom.
Do you
okay?
want me to do anything with my head?
No.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the facts.
Yeah. Tell me about the facts.
Tell me when you're making your first cut.
I already did.
Wow. Were you not scared? Oh, what happened?
I just fucking cut myself.
Oh, no.
You know why? I cut like this, Monica. I cut like this. And because your hair's down here, I have to cut like this. And I just cut my finger. It's okay.
No. Are you
We're going to continue on.
Oh, God.
Okay, get me one of your, what, Nicks? I'm going to wrap a Nicks around this
In
and
my
see
bag.
how absorbent it is.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you sure you're okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Now, this is from Mo.
Oh, wonderful. Mo
Yeah.
Amer.
Mo Amer. This was a great episode. Really interesting life.
Yeah, incredible.
We've had a few people on lately with really interesting lives.
Yeah, John
Bernthal, Mo. That's it.
And that's where it's
That's pretty much it. Okay. Now I have to check myself. I said that we had someone on Armchair Anonymous who told a story about how they pooped in the aisle of a plane and it got everywhere and it got on the flight attendant.
Yeah, I didn't remember that story when you told it. Did that not check out?
No, it happened, but it was the flight attendant called. It was flight attendant stories.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes more sense.
Or plane stories or something. And she told it from her perspective. She's the one that got pooped on.
Oh,
Yeah.
as if the job's not thankless enough already.
I know. It's one of your main
Defenders.
stick up force. Yeah.
Yeah. I enter the plane a little bit self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm suspicious someone's going to try to be mean to them.
Yeah, you want it to happen, really.
I don't, but I'm looking for it, and you find what you're looking for.
Yeah.
That's like the best way to sum it up.
How's it going with the haircut?
Pretty good.
Okay, great.
I'm bleeding pretty good, but that's okay.
Oh my God.
It's okay.
Should we put the
At some point, I'll
cauterize?
put a Band-Aid on it for sure. It's going to get a Band-Aid.
Okay. Well, do we want to cauterize it?
Well, the chemical cauterization.
Yeah, that we just learned about?
That we just learned about. on
That's an
Armchair.
Easter egg for Armchair Anonymous. And it's a dick.
It is a dick.
Okay. When do Michael Che and Colin Jost do their like swappy?
Where they write jokes for one another?
That happened at Christmas. They might do it more, but that was at Christmas.
Seems to be the Christmas present they give us.
Yes. And then last time they did it, they talked about Scarlett's vagina and it caused some issues. Oh my God, Dax! Hold on.
No. Keep
yes.
going. I just showed Monica the blood, but it's okay. I just dabbed it and got a bunch of hair inside of it.
Wait.
Everything's
Do we
fine.
want to get...
No, everything's fine. Continue on. Nothing's happening.
I'm nervous for you.
Don't be nervous.
Okay.
This is not my first time bleeding.
Yeah, but I feel
I
bad.
think that, you know what happened? This is God smiting me for all the period talk. It's now he's given me a lot of blood. Well, her. Now we know God's a woman, and she has smited me.
You're right. It is a ding, ding, ding.
Wait, can we pause for 1 second? I am going to get a Band-Aid because I'm
Yes.
going to have to pull out the layers a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I might have one in my bag.
Do you want me to go grab one? Is Carly inside?
She probably is, yeah.
Yeah, I'll go grab one.
Okay, go.
Be careful not to get any blood on your white shirt.
Okay, I'll try not to get blood on my white shirt.
Are you so far happy with the cut?
Yeah. I mean, no, we're just no.
Because we
I'm
just
not happy
started.
yet.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Don't get upset. Okay. Now, why shouldn't adults get their tonsils removed? They will experience more pain and slower healing compared to children, and there's a higher chance of complications like bleeding or infections.
Okay. I am gonna have to get your hair. Your hair's gonna look crazy in this interview.
Great.
Or not interview, but fact check, because I'm gonna have to flop over the layers.
Okay.
Over the back of your head.
I don't even know what that means because,
Okay.
like, that's hair cutting lingo.
Okay.
Yes. So I still don't really understand it. Like, it must be the size of the tonsils, would be my guess.
Right. The bleeding's the issue.
Yeah, there's like bleeding, but you'd think a kid's tonsils would lead to more bleeding.
Okay, so here's what I'm saying. You're gonna have to deal with that.
Oh, do you want me to hold it?
No, that's okay. Let's get a little blood in there.
Oh, cool.
Great.
Great.
Our next area.
Okay, now when did the U.S. enter the Gulf War?
January 1st, 1991.
January 16th, 1991.
Oh, okay. God, I really
So
thought
that
it
was
was like right
close.
on my birthday, but
I mean, close.
maybe not.
Maybe they
Clearly
were
not.
about to, so they probably talked about it. Okay, now the Kuwaiti citizenship thing.
I'm going to give your hairstylist credit. This is a complicated cut you have.
It is?
Oh, yeah.
That's Jenny. That's why.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Hi. Hi.
He comes in and he goes, your dad cut his finger. Can we have a band?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will you give me a Band-Aid?
And I was like, what? And he was like, cutting Monica's hair. And I was like, what?
What's happening now in this show?
Yeah, this is, I think, what we refer to as jumping the shark.
Yeah. This may be the last successful episode of the show.
Oh my god!
I know, he
That's
really
okay.
did it.
And Monica's hair's in it.
Yeah, that's what I told her.
Do we want to rinse it off?
No, we'll do that afterwards. I just need to
Okay.
stop it so I can finish this haircut.
Why did you let him do this?
Well, I asked.
She
I asked
requested.
for it. You should have seen my hair. It was way too
oh
long.
yeah, your ends do look split.
Right? They're really bad.
All right,
Thank
I love you.
Lincoln.
I love you. Hide your face.
Okay.
Make sure he comes out alive.
I'll do I can't guarantee it,
Okay.
but I'll try.
You know, I was telling Monica that whiskey's a very bad man who killed 100 men.
You said he's bad,
She
bad to
doesn't
the
like.
bone.
She doesn't like it.
Well, no, I just don't like, well, as you know, I have my struggles with whiskey.
Yeah, everybody does.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
nothing unique about that.
Yeah.
He's a prick, as the whole family will tell you.
Yeah.
But he's killed 150 women and he doesn't even care.
Oh,
He doesn't talk about
He
that.
doesn't
I think he's ashamed that he's killed that many women.
Well, that's
to be
a
honest
nice
with
way.
you.
more than men.
Yeah, like men deserve to get
I
killed.
took it as like he's so proud of himself that he did that. That's like an unspoken.
Like he doesn't even.
achievement.
Like it's tougher to kill the men.
Yeah.
He minds that he did all of that.
Ugh. Like he doesn't even think it's a brag.
Exactly, so he doesn't mention it.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Like this is gonna be fine, and you're gonna need to see Jenny when you get home.
Okay, I will.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. I promise.
Shout out Jenny Cho,
Best hairstylist in the world.
alive.
Okay, well, I'll let you guys continue.
Thanks, Link.
Thanks, love. Thanks for saving the
The
day.
haircut.
The show will go on.
It must.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, sweetie.
Love you.
Okay, now back to the fat. How's the blood?
Blood's done. We're all done with blood.
Great. It didn't bleed through the Band-Aid?
Nope.
Great.
It's not like that penis story. I don't think I'll need a chemical cauterization.
Okay. Now, I asked AI
Okay.
about the Kuwaiti passports and stuff
Okay.
in citizenship. And it said, in general, no, being born in Kuwait does not automatically grant you Kuwait citizenship or a passport. Kuwait follows a jus sanguinis, that means right of blood principle, rather than jus soli, right of the soil. This means that citizenship is typically passed through Kuwaiti parents, not by birthplace. A child born in Kuwait to non-Kuwaiti parents does not automatically qualify for Kuwaiti citizenship or a passport. There are very limited exceptions if a child is born to unknown parents or in specific cases where the father is unknown but the mother is Kuwaiti, but those are rare.
Great.
Yeah.
I mean, not great. If you're born there, I feel like you should be a citizen
me
of there.
too.
Yeah, yeah.
Me
so
too.
not great, but great.
Not great, but great for the information.
Great to find out, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. The Peabodys. Do you think maybe we'll get a Peabody for this fact check?
Oh, this might be the one. I mean, I bled for this episode.
Yeah, you
That's
sure
what I'll say in my
did.
speech.
And yeah, and so did I.
Quite a bit of blood. Oh, yeah, we're both bleeding. Rob, you got any blood back there?
Not yet.
Okay. The George Foster Peabody Awards, or simply Peabody Awards, or the Peabodys, named for the American businessman and philanthropist George Peabody, honor what are described as the most powerful, enlightening, and invigorating stories in all of television, radio, and online media. Because of their academic affiliation and reputation for discernment, the awards are held in high esteem with the media industry. And as I told you, they are presented by the Grady College of Journalism and Mass Communications at the University of Georgia. Ding, ding, ding.
Dingos.
And we still don't have one, even though that's the case, which is pretty upsetting.
Doubly embarrassing for us.
It really
that we should
is.
have a home court advantage and still no Peabody.
And when you're in college there and you're part of the journalism school, which technically I was because my PR degree was with Grady,
Okay.
you could apply and basically audition / try out to be they had like student judges. And I did that and I did not get chosen.
You could have been a voice in the Peabodys?
Correct.
Oh, wow.
Anthony got picked.
Oh, God, he is. I'm
know.
impressed you're friends with him.
Yeah, it speaks to
Because
my...
he kind of blows you away in a lot of these competitive situations and you still love him. Because he just killed you at Major Dong.
Mahjong. Yes, he did. He did. He won like 3 out of 3 games. Yeah, I guess that's true friendship.
It is. It is. That's how I felt about Aaron. Like, Aaron was just so much physically superior to me in everything boy related as a kid. His coordination and his athleticism was off the charts. Like, we both tried out for the basketball team in 7th grade, and I didn't make it, and he didn't even want to do it, and he made it, and then he just didn't play.
Sure. Oh, that reminds me of an even worse thing that happened.
With Anthony?
No, with Callie. So when I lived in...
Oh, I remember this story somehow, I think. What was it?
When I lived in Atlanta after college and I had an agent and was trying to work in Atlanta before I moved to LA, the auditions that come through aren't that frequent.
Right.
So it feels like there's a lot of pressure on them.
Mm-hmm.
There was a commercial audition for, I don't remember. It was a fast food brand company.
Yeah.
And they basically said, like, bring a friend to the audition because you needed to, like, be interacting with someone in it.
Uh-huh.
And she booked it.
Oh, and she didn't want to be an
No,
actor.
she wasn't there to act. She was there to just be there with me and do this thing. And then she booked it. I'm pretty sure I did cry about that.
You did.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, but you guys made it.
Oh, yeah. I didn't blame her. Even then, I didn't blame her. But I was like, man, I suck.
Yeah, a non-actor beat me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that happened.
Thank you. You just got to stick with it, you know?
Yeah, war of attrition. Well, we've cleaned up the back.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, again, Jenny she's going to need to come in here, but
Okay.
let me just do it. I'm going to flit around a little bit. while
Okay, yeah, because you
finish.
said you like to be playful.
Yeah, and I'm going to try to clean up just some of these strays.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you right now, you are free of gray hair, which that's nice.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Did you pull any out?
No.
You didn't see any. That's good.
No, I mean, there's some that are like a slightly different color,
Oh,
right?
God.
But they're not gray. I don't know how to do this, but let me just take a look at the side here a little bit. We did not touch the sides, which
conventionally you want to cut the whole hair.
Oh, is that normal?
That's what I've been told.
Okay. Are you regretful right now that you didn't take this opportunity to shave one side of my hair? Stop!
I can't believe you guessed this. I brought this down in my pocket. I was like, is she gonna see this thing hanging out of my pocket? This whole thing was leading up. This whole thing was leading up to freaking you out and just going.
It really feels like you're doing it. Stop! Did you get some?
No.
God.
Oh
my God.
Okay. Well, it looks a little healthier back
What about
here.
this part I'm holding?
I already did that. That's why you were holding it.
Oh, phew. Okay, so it's done?
Yeah. I mean, I should probably just quickly look over here. I didn't look anywhere over here. Let me just quickly see what we got over here. What if I fucking shave the side ear? And you were so mad.
Yeah.
And then you looked in the mirror and you were like, fuck, I look awesome.
I mean, this was your opportunity.
Well, there'll be others. You're cheap. No, you're not even cheap. You're lazy.
I've been trying to coordinate with Jenny for like a month.
All right.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
All right.
It's
a little better.
It's definitely less straggly. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a little wispy. It was a little too wispy.
Yeah. Nice. How do I look?
That's an improvement. Yeah. It's better.
Okay.
Again, you need to see Jenny.
Rob, what do you think?
Yeah, it looks good.
Okay, great.
Looks great.
Yeah, looks
For the camera.
Gorgeous.
All right. Well, that was great.
All right, Rob, sit down. That I could actually do a good job.
I think you did a good job.
I did a fair job. You have way less split ends.
Great. All right. That's it.
Love you.
Love you.